Chapter 1320. The exquisite and finely contoured features were breathtakingly beautiful, indescribable by words, carrying both the softness of femininity and a certain cold aloofness and heroism that left one in awe upon gazing. As if sensing Lu Changsheng's return, her slender lashes trembled gently, hinting at a trace of nervousness. Goodness, am I really that intimidating? As a core formation cultivator, Lu Changsheng's soul was exceptionally sharp, and he naturally noticed this subtle movement from Chu Qingyi, leaving him momentarily speechless. Although, gazing upon Chu Qingyi clad in the Qingyun robe, her brows like a painting, exuding heroic charm, her beauty befitting that of a sword immortal, he couldn't help but feel a slight heat in his heart. Still, it's not as though he was constantly preoccupied with such thoughts. Not to mention, having spent countless days and nights healing Chu Qingyi and condensing her golden core, even with his body as resilient as a magical treasure, nourished by the nascent soul origin, he still felt weary and needed some rest to stabilize his realm. I wonder where we are right now. Lu Changsheng extended his divine sense to observe the surroundings. He had previously surveyed the external environment and knew that after the Tianyuan lotus tore through the void, it landed in a water domain. However, the specific location remained unclear. He simply intervened whenever he sensed a demon beast interfere with the Tianyuan lotus. Setting aside these thoughts, Lu Changsheng moved to sit cross-legged beside Chu Qingyi, beginning to adjust his state and stabilize the situation. Yet for some reason, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had forgotten something. Seeing Lu Changsheng merely sit down beside her, Chu Qingyi let out a soft sigh of relief in her heart. She did not dislike Lu Changsheng. However, she couldn't help but feel a little uneasy about how to interact with him if he were to become too close or intimate with her. Qingyun Sect. Kaiyun Peak. Inside a luxurious palace. Has Qingyi escaped danger? Yun Wanshang, adorned in a colorful and ornate palace gown, her face exquisitely beautiful and dignified, with an air of nobility, was radiant with joy as she gazed at the soul lamp in front of her, now finally stabilized. After returning from the Heavenly Sword sect, she had no heart for cultivation and had been closely monitoring her disciple Chu Qingyi's soul lamp. At this moment, seeing the flickering flame that once seemed like a candle in the wind now robust and steady, she knew Chu Qingyi had passed through the shadow of danger, and her heart brimmed with both relief and joy. I wonder what fortuitous encounter Qingyi obtained. Yun Wanshang recalled Xianxian True Monarch's words, where he hinted that Chu Qingyi's current experience was a blend of catastrophe and opportunity. If she survived this great calamity, there would be an auspicious turn awaiting her. Although he didn't specify what this auspicious turn was, for it to accompany such a dire tribulation, it was bound to be extraordinary. I wonder how that little scoundrel is doing. At this thought, Yun Wanshang's mind shifted to Lu Changsheng, a hint of concern emerging in her heart. Previously, she had instructed Xiao Xie to inform her at once if Lu Changsheng returned to Bai Lake Mountain. However, so much time had passed, and there was still no news from Bai Lake Mountain. If that core formation sword cultivator truly is Lu Changsheng, then with Qingyi out of danger, that little scoundrel should also be safe. Thinking back on her previous conjecture, Yun Wanshang let out a faint sigh in her heart. She both hoped that the core formation sword cultivator was Lu Changsheng and deeply feared that he was indeed Lu Changsheng. After all, the thought of the two of them being together out there, jointly escaping danger, gave her an inexplicable sense of foreboding. A premonition she didn't dare to dwell on further. CTH Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yun Wanshang took a deep breath, forcibly dismissing the chaotic thoughts in her mind, and sat cross-legged to begin her cultivation. Now that her disciple Chu Qingyi was out of danger, she could finally focus on her training in peace. But no sooner had she settled down than a wave of restlessness surged within her. Imagining that if the core formation sword cultivator was truly Lu Changsheng, and if some bond or emotional entanglement developed between them, how should she handle it? What a mess this is. A moment later, Yun Wanshang opened her beautiful eyes and let out a deep sigh. She felt that ever since encountering Lu Changsheng, the moments her heart was thrown into chaos far outnumbered all those in the past century. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1321, Misty Rain Market. Since this Misty Rain Market is under the protection of Bai Lake Mountain, the Sima family cannot be allowed to act recklessly here. Lu Wangshu stood in a pink and white dress, her black hair flowing gracefully, her beautiful eyes like moonlight glistening. With a cold voice, she spoke. Miss Lu, our profound martial ridge has no intention of becoming enemies with Bai Lake Mountain. However, some of our Sima family members went missing in this Misty Rain Market. We came to investigate the matter. Why must Bai Lake Mountain interfere? Isn't that too overbearing? Outside the market, an elder of the Sima family stood with his hands clasped behind his back and spoke in a deep tone. Previously, they had planned to hold the marketplace accountable. However, upon learning that the second market master of Misty Rain Market had married Lu Changsheng as a concubine, they refrained from direct conflict and let the issue drop. But now that Lu Changsheng had perished in the Tianyuan secret realm, the Sima family saw no reason to continue conceding. They sought an opportunity to save face. Otherwise, word would spread, and the world would think the Sima family feared Bai Lake Mountain. Overbearing? Upon hearing this, Lu Wangshu's flawless face, untouched by makeup, was full of disdain. She sneered, "At your age, must you resort to such childish lies? Let me make myself clear, if any of you dare take one step into the market today, you will bear the consequences." Her calm and crisp words dripped with unbridled contempt and disregard. Hiss, this talisman fairy is truly domineering. She does have the right to be arrogant. Someone so young has already broken through Foundation establishment and even killed 5 Foundation establishment cultivators single-handedly. But that person isn't simple either. He's an elder of the Sima family and a Foundation establishment late-stage cultivator. No matter how powerful her talisman arrays are, she can't possibly be his match, right? A tree that stands out in the forest is bound to be battered by the wind. Many cultivators in Misty Rain Market witnessed the scene and murmured quietly. Even the 2 market masters, Yan Lan and Yu Fei, exchanged glances, feeling that this young lady from the Lu family was overly arrogant. Both of their cultivation level surpassed Lu Wangshu's. One was at Foundation Establishment 6th layer, the other at Foundation Establishment 4th layer. Yet, when facing this elder from the Sima family, neither dared to be so disrespectful. Humph, a mere little girl dares to spout such audacious words? I've eaten more salt than you've walked roads. This is something better left for Lu Changsheng or Lu Pingan to say. The elder from the Sima family's face darkened slightly as he spoke. At his age, dignity mattered most to him. Now, to be so openly provoked and looked down upon by such a junior as Lu Wangshu, he could not help but feel anger simmering within him. What's more, Lu Pingan and Ling Zixiao had deprived his Sima family of their nascent soul seed in the past. If he could use this opportunity to cripple Lu Wangshu, not only would it serve as revenge to erase this humiliation, but it would also deal a heart-wrenching blow to Bai Lake Mountain, potentially even leaving it teetering on the brink of collapse. Nonetheless, the elder was cautious, scanning his surroundings to see if Lu Pingan might be hiding in the shadows. If my father or elder brother were here, would you dare to utter such words? You'd have scurried back with your tail between your legs long ago, not daring to show your face. Lu Wangshu sneered as she heard his words, casting a contemptuous gaze at the Sima elder as if regarding a complete fool. Sharp-tongued little girl, since that's the case, let me teach you a lesson on behalf of your father. The elder's face twitched as he spoke in a frosty voice, the growing murderous intent in his eyes directed at Lu Wangshu. Old geezer, the night is dark, and the road is slippery. At your age, don't let your temper get the better of you, otherwise, you might not even know how you'll meet your end. Lu Wangshu crossed her arms, tilted her delicate chin slightly upward, glanced at him askance, and added. Hiss. 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 Loose cultivators in the market, along with the two market masters, Yan Lan and Yu Fei, couldn't help but gasp sharply at those words. Everyone knew this Sima fourth elder was over 100, nearing 200 years old. Yet, here he was being rebuked by a junior like Lu Wangshu, who warned him of the night being dark and the road slippery. It almost felt as if their roles had been reversed. Courting death. SEA the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The elder's face turned a beet red shade of anger, and he stepped toward the market, ready to kill Lu Wangshu. At 187 years of age, he was a family elder who commanded respect wherever he went. Today, to be pointed at and insulted by a mere slip of a girl was unbearably humiliating. If he didn't teach Lu Wangshu a lesson, he feared he'd forever become a laughingstock. Elder, let it go, let it go. This woman is purposely provoking you, trying to lure you into a formation. Lu Wangshu is skilled in talisman formations, and she might have already set up traps. Younger members of the Sima family, who had accompanied him, hurriedly pulled him back and tried to dissuade him. Just get lost already and stop barking at the gate. You're affecting my family's business. If you don't, Lu Wangshu, ignoring the elder's thunderous expression, continued speaking. Arg! The elder could no longer endure and finally unleashed his magical sword, slashing ferociously at Lu Wangshu. However, just as he charged murderously toward the market gate, Lu Wangshu raised both hands and made a gesture incantation. Boom! 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 Beams of light shot skyward at the market's entrance like thunderclaps. In an instant, a series of intricate talismans appeared in order and ensnared the elder, blasting and suppressing him. Sigh, I warned you about curbing your temper, why didn't you listen? Lu Wangshu held an array plate in one hand and the 99 Arcane Talisman Codex in the other. Shaking her head lightly, she spoke. Her radiant face was as resplendent as jade, her beauty unparalleled, yet to all who witnessed her, an inexplicable chill ran through their hearts. Isn't this woman a talisman master? How does she also understand formations? Could Lady Lu, Ling Zixiao, also be present? Talisman formations are a subclass of formations, they can be prepared in advance. No, with this technique, she clearly understands formations, she's an array master. Both the talisman path and the formation path are vast and profound. This woman isn't just a talisman master, she's also an array master. The loose cultivators and some observers whispered among themselves in astonishment. No one had imagined that Lu Wangshu would also turn out to be an array master. Her talent was simply astounding. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1322, Lu Wangshu's hand shot out the 99 Xuanzhen talisman, suppressing the Sima family elder within the talisman formation. Then she looked towards the not-so-distant, hesitant Sima family juniors and said indifferently, return and let the Sima family prepare the spirit stones to come and ransom their people. These Sima family juniors saw this scene, then looked at Yan Lan and Yu Fei beside Lu Wangshu, whose aura was imposing, and finally left, gritting their teeth. This old man should be able to fetch a good price, right? At this moment, Lu Wangshu glanced at the Sima family elder suppressed by her, her beautiful eyes curving in merriment, and she smiled brightly. She knew that previously, to ransom Sima Tong, the Sima family had paid out 300,000 spirit stones, a spirit land, and 10 shops. The Sima family elder she now suppressed was worth at least tens of thousands of spirit stones, right? If she relied solely on making talismans for money, how long would it take her to earn so many spirit stones? How would she afford to nurture talisman soldiers? Moreover, using the talisman formation to suppress people and then waiting for their family to come and ransom them was akin to selling her own talismans, was it not? It was just a different method, and the price of the talismans became more valuable. In the crowd, a youth with an unremarkable face but eyes like torches, shining with divine light, whose pupils seemed to glimmer with a pale golden luster, saw this scene. He glanced deeply at Lu Wangshu and then put the egg-sized golden bean back into the spiritual pet bag. Lu Wangshu seemed to notice the youth's gaze and gestured simply towards him. Meanwhile, Jin Kingdom, Black Mist Swamp. The entire swamp was shrouded in a layer of dim, purplish-black mist, like toxic gas and miasma, eerily sinister. As one ventured deeper into the swamp, this purplish-black toxic miasma grew denser, seemingly corroding the vitality of all things at every moment. At this time, deep within the swamp, among a chaotic heap of rocks and a miasm-filled stone forest, a youth with a handsome face, clad in a black wide robe, sat cross-legged amidst the toxic miasma, endless toxic mist coiling around his body. If one looked closely, one would see that this miasma, which corroded his vitality, was instead being absorbed into his body. Boom! It was unclear how much time had passed when the black-robed youth's body surged with vital energy, his robe fluttering, burning with a purple-green flame, making him appear like a burning, purple-green sun. Now that the myriad poison true body is formed, the toxic miasma on the perimeter not only poses no harm to me but even provides certain benefits. In such a situation, with my strength, breaking through the encirclement and escaping this swampy mountain range should not be much of a problem. The black-robed youth tilted his head, looking towards the direction of the mountain range, muttering. Even relying on the poison miasma gourd and netherworld poison fire, I'm confident I can kill them all. Lu Qiuanzhen narrowed his long eyes, a chilling light flashing, brimming with killing intent. He had previously been hunted down, escaping all the way to this black mist swamp. Ultimately, he managed to survive in this swamp, relying on the Kuanpeng devouring heaven demonic technique. As the saying goes, misfortune and blessing are interdependent. While being chased by a group of poison insects, he inadvertently stumbled into a mysterious cave, gaining opportunity and inheritance within. For this reason, his cultivation level directly broke through from the foundation establishment 4th layer to the 5th layer, just a step away from the 5th layer peak. Let's go. Lu Qiuanzhen stood up and reached out his hand towards a boulder nearby. Immediately, a gold-colored worm emitting a fierce and bloodthirsty aura suddenly crawled out from under the stone, landing on his hand and sleeve. Then, his entire being flew in the direction from which he came. 5 Poisons Cult. A magnificent palace. Sister Xiao Chan, I heard that the Heavenly Sword sect in Jianghu country has a second nascent soul true lord appearing. The 2 nascent soul true lords have been setting traps through the Tianyuan secret realm, almost ambushing the heavenly fiend Zhenjuan of Liang country's heavenly slaughter sect. Mother going to Jianghu country, will she be in danger? Nangong Yao Yao knew her mother went to Jianghu country for matters regarding the Tianyuan secret realm. So she had been paying close attention to the news in this regard over the years. A few days ago, she heard of news from Jianghu country, immediately worrying about her mother's safety. Yao Yao, don't worry. I've already checked, the soul lamp of my master is unharmed, which means there is no danger. With pity in her eyes, Meng Xiaochan gently comforted the worried girl by caressing her waterfall-like soft hair, softly assuring, now that the matters of the Tianyuan secret realm are over, I believe master will return soon. Besides worrying about her master's situation, she was also very concerned about Lu Changsheng's situation. After all, she knew her master wasn't just going to Jianghu country for the Tianyuan secret realm but also because of Lu Changsheng. Now, with the Tianyuan secret realm's matters concluded and master unharmed, it was certain that she would go to find trouble with Lu Changsheng next. I hope master will spare Lu Lang for Yao Yao's sake, Meng Xiaochan sighed in her heart, thinking so. Emichim. Nangong Yao Yao, hearing Meng Xiaochan say her mother's soul lamp was unharmed, showed a sweet smile on her exquisite and beautiful face, nodding in response. Yet, in the depths of her eyes, as dreamy as stars, there remained traces of worry. Sister Xiaochan, I remember you went to Jianghu country's cultivation world with mother on a mission many years ago. I heard it was very dangerous. Can you tell me about it? At this point, Nangong Yaoyao looked at Meng Xiaochan in front of her, holding her jade arms and blinking her big eyes, speaking somewhat idly. Carrying out missions, CTH novel fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Meng Xiaochan paused upon hearing these words. But still, with a face full of doting, she responded, all right. Great Dream Marsh, with vast, undulating waters, rippling waves, stretching endlessly. Looking from afar, one could see many fishing boats, bamboo rafts, sampans, black awning boats, spirit boats, and even demon-hunting boats on the lake surface. As the saying goes, rely on the mountains to eat from the mountains, rely on the water to eat from the water. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1323, The Great Dream Marsh is abundant in aquatic resources, not only with many spiritual fish but also numerous demon beasts. Thus, not only do mortals come here to fish, but many loose cultivators and family forces organize teams to hunt demons out at sea. At this moment, Fongli stood on the black canopy boat, lifting the fishing net she had cast yesterday, her thin face full of disappointment and gloom. Still no spiritual fish. It's been 3 days since I set out, burned 3 sticks of demon-repelling incense, but haven't gained a single thing. If there's no harvest soon, my mother's illness. Fongli tightened her moderately thin clothing and pressed her lips lightly. She was a loose cultivator living on White Whale Island. Originally, her family life wasn't too bad. But half a year ago, her father and brother encountered an accident while fishing at sea, and upon receiving such devastating news, her mother was struck with chi-blood turbulence, falling gravely ill. Confronting this situation, she had no choice but to fish at sea to earn spirit stones. However, over the past half-year, fishing only barely maintained their livelihood. Looking at her grievously ill mother, she attempted to venture deeper into the Great Dream Marsh, but after burning 3 sticks of demon-repelling incense, she still hadn't caught any spiritual fish, leaving her heart full of gloom and aching pain. It should be known that a single stick of demon-repelling incense cost 4 lower-grade spirit stones. Even with a discount for purchasing 3 sticks, it still required 10 spirit stones, a massive expense for her. Should I venture a bit deeper? Fongli gazed out over the boundless, misty and rolling lake surface, pondering silently. But though she thought so, her expression betrayed a touch of fear. After all, the deeper she ventured, the greater the danger. If an accident befell her, then her mother, but looking at the last stick of demon-repelling incense in her arms, she gritted her teeth and began rowing deeper. Otherwise, with no harvest at all this trip, she'd leave empty-handed. After venturing several miles further, she cast her net and fish cage into the water, waiting for the spiritual fish to bite. If I could break through to the 4th level of chi refinement and learn the water avoidance art and water arrow technique, I could dive into the sea for fishing, or even join the monster hunting fleet. Fongli watched the burning demon-repelling incense in front of her, fantasizing about the future. As the sky gradually darkened, she glanced back in the direction of White Whale Island and prepared to pull her net up. Huh! There's a catch! Just as she lifted it, she realized there was something caught in the net. Then, noticing something glittering, she hurriedly strained to pull the net up. In the net, there were not only several spiritual fish but also an object emitting a shimmering crystalline radiance, a blue-green lotus seed. What is this? Could it be a spiritual artifact? Fongli stared at the lotus seed, shocked and overjoyed. Though she was a cultivator, she had never seen a spiritual artifact before. The only magic artifact she had ever seen was her father's fishing crossbow. But at this moment, she instantly recognized that this lotus seed was far more precious than her father's fishing crossbow. After retrieving the lotus seed from the fishing net, she held the crystalline, flowing seed tightly, inspecting it closely, her hands trembling with excitement. It was then that she felt a cooling and profound mystical energy flowing from the lotus seat, causing the bottleneck of her cultivation, which she didn't know how long it would take to break through, to stir faintly at that moment. This, Fangli was stunned, her mouth agape, staring at the lotus seat in disbelief. Though her understanding of cultivation was limited, she knew that treasures capable of aiding in breaking through were definitely supreme treasures. Is this an illusion? She swallowed hard. Sarch * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Then she pinched her arm, felt the pain, and confirmed this was not a hallucination. I actually picked up such a treasure. Fangli was dazed, overwhelmed by the sudden fortune. In her childhood, she had heard many stories of people picking up treasures and attaining great opportunities. But she never imagined such a thing would happen to her. I must keep this lotus seat a secret. A moment later, Fangli calmed down and clenched her fists. Not only did she need to use the lotus seat for cultivation and breaking through, but she also understood the adage, an innocent man gets into trouble for possessing a treasure. An item of such value, once its existence were revealed, would invite endless trouble, even the island master might covet it. Fangli quickly pulled out her cloth bag and wrapped the lotus seat securely. She then placed the spiritual fish into the fish basket, her heart racing as she rowed toward White Whale Island. Splash, 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 Fangli noticed that she had ventured too far, and the demon-repelling incense wouldn't last long enough for her to return safely. She murmured repeatedly, praying not to encounter a demon beast. However, worries often manifest into reality. Splash, splash, suddenly, a burst of water erupted from the lake's surface. A 3-foot-long, pitch-black pointed-mouth monster fish shot out, spewing several streams of water arrows from its mouth. Water shield art. Fangli quickly formed a gesture incantation, conjuring a water shield. But as soon as the water shield emerged, it was corroded and pierced by the water arrows, causing a large hole to appear in her black canopy boat, which began to sink. I'm finished. Fangli realized that without the boat, she stood no chance against such a demon beast. Save me, treasure, save me. At that moment, she thought of the lotus seat she had obtained. Believing it to be a top-tier treasure surpassing spiritual artifacts, she wondered whether it possessed spiritual awareness and might save her life. Inside the Tianyuan treasure Emperor Lotus, Lu Chongsheng felt something and opened his eyes with a hint of surprise. He didn't expect the lotus seat, after floating in this water domain for so long, to finally be picked up by someone. Having someone here isn't bad, perfect for asking where this place is. Lu Chongsheng stirred his intent, radiating slight ripples around him before vanishing completely. Beside him, Chu Qingyi watched this scene with some puzzlement and surprise, uncertain about what Lu Chongsheng was doing. I didn't expect that just after obtaining such a fortuitous treasure, I'd die here. Fangli, staring at the pointed-mouth monster fish before her, held the lotus seat up as a shield, her heart despairing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1324. However, at this moment, a tall and slender figure dressed in an exquisite black brocade robe suddenly appeared before her eyes. Whoosh! As soon as the figure appeared, the sharp-mouthed monster fish attacking her was sent flying and splashed into the water with a loud plop. Young lady, may I ask where this place is? Lu Chongsheng turned his head, looking at Fangli as he spoke. Is this an immortal? Fangli stared at Lu Chongsheng's face, her mouth slightly agape, completely stunned, her eyes filled with awestruck admiration. In her nearly 20 years of life, she had never seen anyone this breathtakingly beautiful, like someone walking out of a painting. No, even the people in paintings couldn't compare to this. This must be an immortal. Could it be that the lotus seat she found actually belongs to an immortal? Or was this figure the artifact spirit within the lotus seat? Young lady? Lu Chongsheng glanced at her dreamy expression, slightly helpless. He had already restrained as much of his charm as possible, but his radiant and handsome presence still shone like the brightest star in the night sky. Immortal. This is White Whale Island. My name is Fong Li, a loose cultivator living here. Thank you, Immortal, for saving my life. Fong Li snapped back to herself and quickly spoke with excitement, her voice tinged with nervous tremors. White Whale Island. Lu Chongsheng frowned slightly, not recognizing this location. He continued asking if this was Jiang country, and whether there were any prominent factions or large islands nearby. Immortal, this is Jiang country. The most powerful faction here is the Great Dream Immortal City. Fong Li hurriedly replied. Great Dream Immortal City. Great Dream Marsh. Upon hearing that he was still in Jiang country, Lu Chongsheng let out a breath of relief. If he had broken through the Great Void and ended up in some other cultivation nation, returning home would have been much more troublesome. If it's Great Dream Immortal City, he could arrive there within a month at most if he hurried. Do you know the location of Great Dream Immortal City? Lu Chongsheng continued to ask. Fong Li immediately felt a bit embarrassed. If it weren't for the misfortune in her family, she would never have left White Whale Island in her entire life. If that's the case, let's go to White Whale Island. Lu Chongsheng decided to obtain a map of the Dream Swamp Sea and also planned to visit Great Dream Immortal City, take care of some matters, and then return home to propose marriage at Qingyan sect. With a light raise of his palm, the Tianyuan lotus in Fong Li's hands fell into his possession. Seeing this, Fong Li realized that the lotus seat was indeed the property of the man before her. And he wasn't some artifact spirit but likely a foundation-building great cultivator. Senior, please save my mother. My father and brother encountered danger while fishing in the sea, and my mother fell critically ill due to grief and qi blood imbalance. Senior, your divine skills are boundless, please save her. As long as you save my mother, I am willing to serve you forever as your servant to repay your immense kindness. Fong Li bit her lip, knowing she must seize the opportunity upon meeting such a powerful cultivator. She pleaded earnestly. Our meeting can be considered a stroke of fate, servitude isn't necessary. Lu Chongsheng chuckled softly and then stepped forward, placing his palm gently on her head. In an instant, the Six Desires Heart Demon technique was activated, erasing her memories related to the Tianyuan lotus. He then brought Fong Li back to White Whale Island and handed her a storage bag containing spirit stones, elixirs, talismans, puppets, and a cultivation technique. Lu Ancestor had been in a particularly good mood lately. Given their faint connection through fate, he didn't mind offering a small act of help. After all, taking the Tianyuan lotus and simply leaving wouldn't align with the demeanor of a true core immortal. After purchasing a marine map on White Whale Island, Lu Chongsheng transformed into a streak of light and sped toward Great Dream Immortal City. This is a gift of fortune. Don't reveal it easily to others, lest you invite calamity. Take care of yourself. Fong Li looked at the storage bag in her hands and its dazzling array of heavenly and earthly treasures. She bit her lip lightly, feeling as though today's experiences were akin to an extraordinary dream. I don't even know this senior's name. Will I ever have the chance to meet him again in this lifetime? She murmured to herself, reminiscing about everything that had just transpired, only to realize she could no longer clearly recall the senior's face. All she remembered was his black brocade robe, his tall and elegant figure, and his incomparably handsome features, like an exiled immortal walking out of a masterpiece. CTH Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1325, So this is the Great Dream Immortal City? High in the sky, Lu Chongsheng looked down at the massive city standing on a small island below. Among the three great immortal cities of Jiang country, Zhouxiao Immortal City, Azure Phoenix Immortal City, he had visited them all. But he had never been to the Great Dream Immortal City before. Compared to the other two immortal cities, the Great Dream Immortal City was neither as prosperous and powerful as Jiuxiao Immortal City, nor as teeming with mixed fortunes and opportunities as Azure Phoenix Immortal City. The sole advantage it had was its stability. In all these years, Lu Changsheng had never heard of any power struggles or demon uprisings occurring in the Great Dream Immortal City. Qing Yi were now in the Great Dream Marsh. In planning to visit the Great Dream Immortal City, do you care to join me for a stroll? At this moment, Lu Changsheng thought of Chu Qingyi, who was inside the Tianyuan lotus, and sent her a message. He naturally noticed that since he had saved this fairy Qing Yi, her heart and emotions had been in turmoil, unsure of how to face him. This situation hadn't improved over time, in fact, it only worsened after her core formation breakthrough. So, he figured inviting her out for a walk might help her ease her mind. Seated cross-legged, Chu Qingyi heard his words, and immediately her heart thudded wildly. She was flustered and utterly at a loss for how to respond. Would it seem impolite if she refused him? But if she didn't refuse, wouldn't roaming the immortal city together make things even more unclear and ambiguous between them? Seeing the fairy inside the Tianyuan lotus growing flustered and uneasy, Lu Changsheng sighed helplessly. He then stepped into the cave heaven, approached her, and gently grasped her delicate, soft hand. In a serious tone, he asked, "Qing Yi, what's the matter with you? Are you feeling unwell somewhere? Or did something go wrong during core formation causing discomfort? Do you need help stabilizing your golden core?" Chu Qingyi. Was this man actually considering dual cultivation as a form of healing? Chu Qingyi quickly calmed her chaotic mental spirit, casting her gaze downward. Her voice carried a trace of embarrassed frustration as she said, "I'm fine, Lu Daoist." About the matter from before, but the words she wanted to say caught in her throat and refused to come out. "I know you're still upset with me," Lu Changsheng said, sighing immediately upon seeing her hesitation. "It was wrong of me to decide to save you without your consent, but I simply couldn't stand by and watch you die in front of me. If you're willing, I'll return to Qingyun's sect later and formally ask Kaiyun True Immortal for your hand." Holding Chu Qingyi's soft, exquisite hand, Lu Changsheng spoke sincerely. But when he saw her beautiful eyes cast downward, avoiding his gaze, he grew despondent and added, "However, if you're unwilling, I'll treat this as a dream and ensure no one else ever knows. Once you've recovered, I won't trouble you anymore. For now, just focus on regaining your strength. If you need anything, let me know anytime." Lu Changsheng's expression was filled with loss. With a sigh, he reluctantly released Chu Qingyi's delicate hand. I don't." Hearing his words, Chu Qingyi froze, her flawless cheeks betraying a moment of surprise. A wave of guilt and tenderness swelled in her heart. Despite all he had done selflessly to save her, even helping her to form a superior gold core, he acted as though he owed her something. "Really? Qing Yi, you're not angry with me?" Lu Changsheng's face, which had been clouded with gloom, instantly lit up with joy. He clasped her silky hand tightly again. Chu Qingyi instinctively tried to pull her hand free from his grasp, but when she failed to do so, she let it be and said softly, "Since we've come to the Great Dream Immortal City, let's have a look around. I've never been here either." "But Lu Daoist, could you stop calling me Qing Yi?" Back in the sect, everyone addressed her as senior or junior sister. The name, Qing Yi, was reserved for her master and a few elders. Now hearing Lu Changsheng call her by such an intimate name made her feel an inexplicable sense of discomfort. "Alright, in that case, how about I call you senior sister?" Lu Changsheng's gaze softened as he moved a little closer to Chu Qingyi. In truth, calling her Qing Yi was simply his way of being a bit more familiar and held no other intentions. On the other hand, addressing her as senior sister seemed to carry a different kind of undertone. Hearing this, Chu Qingyi's heart skipped a beat. Her beautiful eyes filled with a mixture of embarrassment and annoyance, and she felt as though she wanted to disappear into the ground. This man clearly had an unusual relationship with junior sister Xianxia, yet here she was, entangled in such an unclear situation with him. She tried once again to free her hand from Lu Changsheng's grasp. "Lu Daoist, what about you and Xianxia?" Chu Qingyi kept her head slightly lowered as she asked softly. Although she already knew the answer, she couldn't help but seek confirmation. "That's correct. Xianxia and I have already become Dao companions. But, as senior sister knows, Xianxia cultivates the supreme forgetful love technique. Without overcoming the tribulation of emotions, breaking through to core formation is difficult for her. So we're waiting for her to complete her core formation breakthrough before holding the Dao companion ceremony." S.E.A. The novel, F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changsheng spoke with a calm and honest expression. He knew Chu Qingyi already suspected his relationship with Xianxia and was merely asking for confirmation. Though he could have lied to her and placated her temporarily, he, Lu someone, no matter how despicable, couldn't bring himself to do such a thing. Besides, the two women, being senior and junior sisters, would inevitably encounter each other in the future. It was better to disclose everything up front. "What Xianxia and I have, Master has already approved of. In fact, the Sun-Moon Samsara technique was given to us by Master to cultivate together." Lu Changsheng continued, "Isn't it remarkable how the Sun-Moon Samsara technique happened to lead me to the inheritance of the Tianyuan true monarch, allowing me to coincidentally use this cultivation technique to save you, senior sister? I heard from Xianxia that this Sun-Moon Samsara technique was actually obtained by you and Master together in the Tianyuan secret realm." As he spoke, Lu Changsheng's hand gradually moved to rest on Chu Qingyi's fragrant shoulder, his smile warm and genuine. "Stop, just call me Qingyi instead." Listening to him repeatedly mention Xianxia, senior sister, and Master, in every other sentence, Chu Qingyi felt entirely at a loss, a surge of unspeakable embarrassment welling up within her. Though his addressing her like this wasn't inappropriate considering his relationship with Xianxia, she still found it hard to bear. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1326. Right now, their relationship was ambiguous and undefined. She couldn't comprehend how Lu Changsheng managed to talk to her so intimately and nonchalantly. If she found out that her master also had some connection with Lu Changsheng, she'd probably be utterly dumbfounded. All right, I won't say any more." Lu Changsheng held Chu Qingyi's hand as they exited the Tianyuan lotus. "You shameless man, not a single honest word comes out of your mouth." Just then, a cold and alluring voice resounded in Lu Changsheng's mind. Who's speaking?" Lu Changsheng paused momentarily, confused. In the next instant, he suddenly remembered Nangong Mili, the woman trapped in the formless treasure wheel. *T, I knew I was forgetting something. Turns out I forgot about this woman. To be fair, Chu Qingyi's situation at the time was urgent beyond measure, leaving no room for distractions. Then one thing led to another, and she slipped from his mind. But wait, wasn't she sealed within the formless domain? How is she speaking? Lu Changsheng activated his divine sense and swiftly understood the situation. The sealing divine light head used on Nangong Mili had somehow become ineffective without his notice. With her mana now accessible, Nangong Mili was using a goo insect to communicate with him telepathically. So this is the art of goo cultivation, huh? Although Lu Changsheng had several heavenly goo insects himself, he wasn't familiar with goo cultivation techniques. But when did she break the seal? Or has she been secretly watching for a while and only now decided to speak up? Lu Changsheng pondered silently. Well, it's just the mother of his child taking a look. That's no big deal. Back then, when he and Nangong Mili, didn't Meng Xiaochan and Ling Zixiao watch the entire time too? Mili, that's unfair. I've been nothing but honest to you. Have I ever deceived you? You're all my wings of support. Right now isn't the best time, but once I'm done with my work, I'll let you out immediately. Lu Changsheng directed his voice toward Nangong Meili inside the formless domain. With Chu Qingyi next to him, it was clearly inconvenient to release Nangong Meili. After all, righteousness and demonic paths are inherently opposed. Someone like Ling Zixiao might not care much about the righteous versus demonic divide. But Chu Qingyi was a devout disciple of the immortal sects, raised from childhood with the values of vanquishing demons and eliminating evil, holding firm to the notion that righteousness and demonic paths cannot coexist. If he were to release a demonic nascent soul immortal now, even if the other person didn't act aggressively, it would still affect how Chu Qingyi perceived him. You shameless man! Inside the formless domain, Nangong Meili's alluring and devilishly beautiful face darkened with frost and hurled another insult. She had already broken part of the seal when Lu Changsheng helped Chu Qingyi form her golden core, and used the mind goo to observe the situation outside. Seeing Lu Changsheng assisting Chu Qingyi in condensing her core, she didn't take any action. After all, during their brief encounters, she had come to understand that this man only responded to softness, not hardness. Earlier, he had shown mercy to her because of their past relationship and for the sake of their daughter, Nangong Yaoyao. If she caused trouble at such a critical moment, it would only provoke his wrath, and she wouldn't gain anything from it. Moreover, witnessing Lu Changsheng's formidable strength and seeing him condensing a superior golden core for Chu Qingyi, she was not only astonished but also began to harbor some complex thoughts. Given her current strength, she couldn't overpower him or make him nurture her true elixir anymore. She could only resort to other means, though the mere thought of such means made Nangong Meili feel deeply disdainful. But considering their situation, and the fact that they already had a daughter together, if these means could allow her true elixir to ascend to an immortal golden core, she wasn't entirely against the idea. Additionally, after witnessing Lu Changsheng's talent and power firsthand, the grudge she held from their earlier turbulent encounters seemed to have softened significantly. How shameless! I absolutely cannot let this shameless man get near Yao Yao. And these righteous sect women are just so gullible, easily believing his flowery words and fake sincerity. Nangong Meili sneered disdainfully as she watched the way Lu Changsheng was sweet-talking Chu Qingyi. She thought Lu Changsheng was shameless, and this woman utterly brainless. If someone like Chu Qingyi joined her five poisons cult, she'd probably get tricked out of her riches and still count the money for her deceivers. Then again, with this shameless man's handsome appearance and smooth-talking nature, it wasn't all that surprising that this righteous sect woman was fooled. Lu Changsheng didn't continue chatting with Nangong Meili inside the formless treasure wheel. As long as she didn't cause trouble for him, there wasn't too much to worry about. After exiting the Tianyuan Lotus with Chu Qingyi, he briefly disguised them both and transformed into two Foundation establishment cultivators, heading toward the Great Dream Immortal City. At the city gate, numerous cultivators bustled to and fro. As soon as the crowd saw Lu Changsheng and Chu Qingyi, they quickly moved aside with expressions of respect and reverence, clearing a path for them. Anywhere you go, Foundation establishment cultivators are still considered prominent figures. It seems that apart from having more aquatic demon beasts or water affinity treasures, this Great Dream Immortal City doesn't differ much from Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Lu Changsheng entered the Immortal City and glanced at the shops on either side, silently musing to himself. He planned to check later if there were any aquatic bloodline spiritual beasts worth acquiring so he could raise some Blackwater Dragon Dao troops back home. Turning to Chu Qingyi, he said, "Qingyi, let's grab some food first." Although cultivators generally abstain from food after Foundation establishment, Lu Changsheng, however, never let himself miss out on the pleasures of food all these years. Now that they'd arrived in Great Dream Immortal City, he wanted to sample the local delicacies. Alright, Chu Qingyi, holding Lu Changsheng's hand, was flushed with shyness and discomfort. Sir, the Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Even though they were disguised. Walking down the street like a couple still made her feel uneasy and out of place. Once they reached a restaurant in the inner city, Lu Chongsheng ordered some signature dishes. Noticing Chu Qingjia's unease, he sat beside her, gently stroked her cheek, and asked, "Qingyi, are you feeling unwell? If you're not feeling okay, you have to let me know." Lu Changsheng's face was full of concern. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1327, I'm fine. Chu Qingyi gently shook her head and said. She had merely felt uncomfortable just now. "I don't believe it. If you're really fine, smile for me and let me see." Lu Chongsheng said quite naturally, "By the way, I haven't seen what you look like when you smile." Chu Qingyi, she could smile, of course. After all, in her daily life, there were always moments of happiness and joy. But being suddenly asked to smile on demand, she truly didn't know how. Her lips twitched slightly before she softly said, "I don't know how." "You don't even know how? Then allow your husband to show you a smile." Lu Chongsheng reached out with 2 fingers to pull at the corners of his lips, making a silly face and a grinning expression. Pfft. Even though Chu Qingjia's mental state was tightly wound, she couldn't help but laugh at Lu Changsheng's antics, completely ignoring the fact that he referred to himself as, "your husband." "See? Didn't you end up smiling after all?" Lu Chongsheng watched her reaction and smiled, saying, "You should smile more often, you look beautiful when you do." Chu Qingyi, realizing she had lost some composure, toned down her smile slightly. She then looked up at the man before her and said, "Lu Daoist, Qingyi truly appreciates your great kindness and willingness to step in to save me. But you are Dao companions with Xianxia, and she is my sister disciple. I cannot do anything that would betray her. Moreover, my heart is devoted to cultivation, and I am uninterested in matters of romance between men and women. I hope that the matters between us will end here. As for your kindness, Qingyi will always remember it. Should there be a time in the future when you require my assistance, I will not hesitate to risk boiling waters or shattering bones. Your secret will also remain locked in my heart. I won't tell anyone." Chu Qingyi summoned her courage, looked at Lu Chongsheng, and spoke earnestly. She had thought over these words for a long time, but hadn't known how to bring them up. With the way things were between them, ambiguous, overly intimate, it had stirred turmoil in her heart and cast a shadow over her sword heart. She no longer wished to delay and finally mustered the courage to make everything clear. Boiling waters, shattering bones? Why not simply offer yourself to me instead? Lu Chongsheng reflexively blurted out. However, noticing the woman pressing her lips into a tight line and looking solemn, he immediately adopted a serious demeanor and said, "If Xianxia were to know the circumstances at the time, I believe she would have wished for me to save Qingyi as well. Therefore, Qingyi, there is no need to feel guilty. Afterward, I will explain everything to Xianxia. As for matters of affection, such things should never be forced. Although I fell for you at first sight, it doesn't mean you are obliged to reciprocate. There's simply no such reasoning in this world, so Qingyi, you shouldn't feel any guilt. If Qingyi feels indebted for the events that transpired and forces yourself because of that, it would make me feel ashamed instead. In the days ahead, Qingyi, you may regard me as just an ordinary friend. There's no need to strain yourself." Sar the Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongsheng took a deep breath and spoke. Indeed, while Chu Qingyi was troubled by her connection to Xianxia, even without that connection, someone like Chu Qingyi was unlikely to easily be moved. Therefore, Lu Chongsheng hadn't deluded himself into thinking that saving her through dual cultivation would instantly make her fall for him. However, since he was already on board the metaphorical car, getting her to buy a ticket afterward would become much easier. Sigh, Chu Qingyi heard his words but didn't feel any joy or relief. There's a saying, the hardest debts to repay are those of a bowtie's grace. She felt that, in her case facing Lu Changsheng, it was the hardship of repaying a handsome man's favor. From their first meeting, he had openly revealed his feelings, his affection, admiration, and pursuit of her beauty, without any attempt to hide. Though previously, he had indeed taken so many liberties with her, now his measured restraint and gentlemanly demeanor made him seem like a noble and courteous man, warming her like the spring breeze. It left her utterly at a loss. "Thank you, Lu Daoist." After saying what was on her mind, Chu Qingyi felt as if a weight had lifted off her shoulders. She decided that once they were done wandering around these next few days, she would bid farewell to Lu Changsheng and leave. Otherwise, continuing to spend time with Lu Changsheng like this would keep disrupting her flawless sword heart, stirring up chaotic thoughts and emotional turbulence. "Let's eat first. Just relax and be natural," Lu Changsheng said with a smile. "This woman is so idiotic. Do you think this dog of a man will let you off so easily?" In the formless domain, Nangong merely watched the scene unfold, her face full of disdain. However, seeing how Lu Changsheng treated Chu Qingyi while she herself remained suppressed in the domain, Nangong merely couldn't help but feel an inexplicable sense of frustration rising in her heart, sour, bitter, and vexed. She immediately sneered and cursed at Lu Changsheng, "Dog of a man. Mealy, are you jealous?" The old ancestor Lu, multitasking at once, maintained an outwardly calm appearance with a gracefully serene smile. "Scram!" Nangong merely instantly cursed coldly. "Ha!" Lu Changsheng merely chuckled, planning to educate her about family discipline at some later time. Regularly accustomed to the finest delicacies, this meal was only mediocre to the old ancestor Lu. Chu Qingyi, perhaps afraid that Lu Changsheng might initiate a conversation with her again, ate very seriously, and in doing so presented a pleasing scene to behold. "Let's go." After finishing the meal, Lu Changsheng effortlessly reached for Chu Qingyi's hand, preparing to continue shopping and visit a few merchant shops. Being held by Lu Changsheng in such a manner caused Chu Qingyi to tremble slightly, and she instinctively pulled her hand away, speaking softly, "Lu Daoist, didn't they just clarify everything moments ago? Why was he still being so close? What's wrong, Qingyi?" Lu Changsheng's gaze remained pure, his demeanor unperturbed, as he replied, "I'm still planning to purchase some spiritual materials." "Qingyi, do you need anything?" Sigh. Chu Qingyi inwardly sighed, thinking that with the situation as it was, she might as well go along with it for these few days. She lightly shook her head and said, "I don't need anything." After speaking, she paused and then softly added, "If Lu Daoist requires any materials, Qingyi can help." Being a nascent soul immortal of the Qingyun sect, she typically only exchanged heavenly and earthly treasures from the sect's treasury when needed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1328, It's also possible to post a task and have others search for it. This is far more convenient than relying on ordinary loose cultivators or clan cultivators. Alright, I'll take a look later at what's needed. When the time comes, I'll be counting on you, Qingyi. S.E.A. The novel, F. Ire. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changsheng replied with a smile. The other party currently harbored guilt towards him. Asking her for help frequently could not only ease the situation but also draw them closer together. Moreover, he could use this reason in the future to seek out Chu Qingyi. Chu Qingyi watched him agree so quickly, thinking to herself whether she had misspoken. "TSK, my connections in the Qingyun sect are getting stronger and stronger." Lu Changsheng sighed inwardly. A few years later, when Xiaoxia breaks through to core formation, he will have 3 core formation backers in the Qingyun sect. But if Kaiyun True Immortal learns about Chu Qingyi's situation, will she still be willing to help him? She might just wish to cut him down with a single sword strike. Want some candied hawthorn? Lu Chongsheng looked at a stall ahead and asked. No. Chu Qingyi shook her head gently. But Lu Chongsheng still went ahead and purchased a skewer. Taking one bite, he remarked that it tasted pretty good and gestured for Chu Qingyi to try it. Chu Qingyi was momentarily startled, but upon meeting Lu Chongsheng's tender and affectionate gaze, she parted her lips slightly and bit into one. The taste was unexpectedly good. Quite tasty, isn't it? Qingyi, you probably don't get the chance to stroll around like this very often, do you? Lu Chongsheng said with a smile. There's a saying, if she is inexperienced in the world, show her the wonders of life, if she's weary of its burdens, share with her the simplicity of a carousel ride. For someone of Chu Qingyi's age, she must have experienced much and gained considerable insight. However, as Lu Chongsheng saw it, her insight was mostly confined to the domain of cultivation. As for the chaos of the mortal world and personal affection, she has only superficial knowledge but little first-hand experience. So these ordinary little moments should strike a chord with her and become unforgettable memories. Chu Qingyi nodded slightly. Lu Chongsheng smiled but didn't keep talking. Instead, he took her slender hand, walking side by side down the street, occasionally entering shops to inquire about goods and purchase spiritual materials. For some reason, this simple stroll gradually began to feel peculiar to Chu Qingyi. She reflected for a long time before pinpointing the source of this peculiarity. She seemed to no longer mind Lu Chongsheng's close gestures. Moreover, their intimate behavior was strikingly similar to that of some couples or Dao companions seen occasionally on the street. At this moment, Lu Chongsheng noticed a nearby Tianyi pavilion and said aloud, "The dresses here are quite nice. Qingyi, want to try one?" "No need." Chu Qingyi gently shook her head. "Qingyi, don't you usually have hobbies of your own?" Lu Chongsheng didn't insist and casually asked. "Practicing swordsmanship. Just sword practice and cultivation." Lu Chongsheng clicked his tongue and commented, "No wonder Qingyi has achieved such greatness. But if life consists only of cultivation and swordsmanship, don't you find it lonely and boring?" Chu Qingyi glanced at Lu Chongsheng, remained silent for a moment, and then softly said, "Morning spurns Bodhi, evening seeks great Luo, perilous passes and treacherous paths disdain solitude. Lifelong love for a 7-foot sword, cuts through my illusions to reveal my true self." Lu Chongsheng hadn't expected his little ploy to be seen through by Chu Qingyi, who countered him so resolutely. Indeed, anyone who cultivated to core formation wasn't foolish. Chu Qingyi had already moved past her initial lost and uncertain state and knew how to handle him now. But even the fiercest woman can be won over with persistent affection. If one is willing to invest time and endure embarrassment, surely the beauty could be swept off her feet. For us cultivators, the purpose is naturally the pursuit of the great Tao. The sword Tao is undoubtedly alluring. I too once devoted myself wholeheartedly to swordsmanship. But later, I realized that the world is brimming with countless wonders and beautiful things. If one channels all their efforts into cultivation alone, neglecting and missing out on such experiences, they would regret it deeply in the end." Lu Chongsheng said softly. "Chu Qingyi. This isn't the same man with a harem and countless descendants, is it? How did he go from being obsessed with swordsmanship?" But thinking about Lu Chongsheng's swordsmanship heritage and the techniques had demonstrated before, she felt skeptical yet slightly convinced. Perhaps he had wholeheartedly pursued swordsmanship in his early years but later abandoned it to cultivate the talisman path and focus on his family? Wait, no, when he helped her break through core formation, he didn't seem to be a talisman cultivator either. Chu Qingyi was somewhat baffled. Still, she realized that Lu Chongsheng's words were likely an attempt to use the sword Tao as an analogy to sway her perspective. The world may indeed hold much beauty, but for us cultivators, cultivation is the foundation. Being too distracted will squander one's lifespan, ultimately hindering progress and resulting in genuine regret. Moreover, Qingyi isn't entirely uninterested in other things outside of swordsmanship and cultivation. It's simply a matter of priorities and choice. Chu Qingyi responded in a low voice. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1329, Does Qingyi truly understand the matter of choices and compromises? Life is but a journey of cultivation, and every experience is a passing scenery. If one encounters a delightful view, why not pause and savor it for a while? Lu Chongsheng chuckled lightly and said, besides, the great Tao is boundless. If one has 2 or 3 confidants to support each other and journey hand in hand through the vast years, wouldn't that be a great blessing as well? Chu Qingyi did not retort. After a brief silence, she softly asked, Lu Daoist, why did you abandon the sword Dao? Even though she couldn't discern the truth in Lu Changsheng's words, the time he used sword qi to dispel poison and the fact that he passed her, the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture, both demonstrated his extraordinary talent in sword Dao and the significant effort he had invested in it. Under such circumstances, his choice to switch to cultivating another path truly puzzled her. Didn't I already mention it? In this world, there are simply too many beautiful things. If one devotes their entire focus to a single aspect, one might miss out on other wonderful things. Lu Chongsheng gently held Chu Qingyi's smooth jade-like hand and continued, when I was cultivating sword Dao, I was utterly enamored. My heart was wholly immersed in it. Yet as I practiced, I gradually lost interest in everything else, unwilling to explore or attempt other pursuits, even feeling a certain disdain deep within. But later, I came across a talisman path cultivation technique. After a brief study, I discovered that I was even more intrigued by the talisman path. Afterward, due to my family's needs, I delved into spirit plant cultivation, spirit cooking, wine brewing, alchemy, and artifact refining. I found that every path within the 100 arts of cultivation possessed its own unique allure. Lu Chongsheng walked alongside Chu Qingyi down the street, speaking with a smile. Lu Daoist, your talent and aptitude are truly rare in Qingyi's lifetime. But for cultivators like us, cultivation level is the absolute foundation. Chu Qingyi pursed her lips, glanced at Lu Chongsheng, and remarked. She had heard of Lu Changsheng's reputation as the unparalleled master of pill and talisman. To her surprise, besides sword Dao and his prowess in alchemy and talisman making, Lu Chongsheng had even studied so many additional arts. Moreover, he had transitioned from being a sword cultivator to a talisman cultivator, and now to another cultivation path. Could this person be the reincarnation of a celestial being? Even though Chu Qingyi herself understood some other cultivation techniques and the 100 arts of cultivation outside sword Dao, she only explored them in times of bottlenecks during her practice, to cultivate her character and gain insights from related disciplines. She would never spend much time or energy on them. Frankly, she lacked the abundant time and energy to do so. Yet Lu Chongsheng, younger than her, had devoted such effort and still achieved a remarkable cultivation realm. It was truly astonishing and utterly inconceivable. Even though she had always been hailed as a genius, in the face of Lu Chongsheng at this moment, she felt inferior. Qingyi's words, I naturally acknowledge. Lu Chongsheng nodded with a smile and continued, but, 100 years of life is like a single day to a mayfly. Is there truly any meaning in longevity to me? Even if you and I achieve the golden core stage and enjoy a 500-year lifespan, it would simply be another form of entrapment. Wouldn't it be better to have a beautiful companion, descendants aplenty, and savor life's joys together in the mortal world? Even if one ultimately stumbles through life, it's better to leave no regrets. If one is solely focused on cultivation, looking back at a half-lifetime of solitude and coldness, could one's heart truly remain free of regrets? Sir the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After finishing his words, Lu Chongsheng sighed deeply and carried on, I am different from Qingyi. Born in meager circumstances, I've seen many loose cultivators who forsook their families, abandoned lovers, discarded friendships, and wandered far and wide just to seek immortality. Yet in the end, they lived in poverty and solitude, buried in desolate lands, with neither success nor lasting achievement in their Tao. Who could say that their Tao hearts were not resolute? But life is like a chess game, once a move is made, there's no turning back. Lu Changsheng looked at Chu Qingyi sincerely and said, I am not trying to persuade Qingyi to give up cultivation or sword Tao. I only hope that while Qingyi cultivates, you take more time to appreciate the scenery around you. Only then can life be without regrets, leaving behind no lingering remorse. Chu Qingyi carefully contemplated Lu Changsheng's words, finding them indeed reasonable. From a young age, she was taken in and nurtured by her master Yun Wanshang, who held high hopes for her. Thus, from the moment she could remember, cultivation became her duty and sole goal. Gifted with a natural sword heart, she grasped even the most advanced sword techniques and cultivation methods effortlessly, swiftly mastering them. Because of this, she dedicated her time and energy solely to sword Tao, gradually losing interest in other pursuits. Lu Daoist possesses a broad and profound perspective, he is no ordinary man. Chu Qingyi murmured softly. She understood Lu Changsheng was attempting to convince her and indeed resonated with his philosophy. However, she held her own thoughts and reasoning, not so easily swayed. Moreover, she truly didn't know how to handle emotions of this kind. Ha ha ha, I am but a simple man, a commoner, as plain as can be. Lu Changsheng, realizing it was not easy to persuade her, laughed while leading Chu Qingyi to a nearby jewelry store. Chu Qingyi, like a shy bride, allowed herself to be guided by him, mulling over his earlier words. She found Lu Changsheng quite peculiar. Unlike most people she had encountered in her daily life. Before forming her core, many of her fellow disciples or cultivators from other immortal sects sought to pursue her. But those individuals always treated her like an exalted fairy, never once behaving as Lu Changsheng did. For a moment, she didn't know how to describe it, shameless, roguish, or perhaps carefree and unrestrained. Here, Qingyi, try this. I think it suits you. While she pondered, Lu Changsheng picked up a plum blossom tassel hairpin and moved to place it on her. Chu Qingyi's heart skipped a beat. She wanted to say something but, seeing the natural transparency reflected in Lu Changsheng's gaze, she was struck speechless and let him gather her long ponytail. His movements were practiced and didn't take advantage of her in any way. But as she beheld Lu Changsheng's affectionate and intimate demeanor, her heart, which had just barely calmed, once again churned into a tangled mess. Her delicate eyes carried a trace of shyness. Ah, as expected, beauty needs no embellishment. But Qingyi still looks best in her original appearance, valiant and heroic, with sword intent radiating majestically. Lu Changsheng rubbed his chin, observed closely for a moment, and commented with a smile. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1330, On Ordinary Days, Chu Qingyi's delicate brows and ink-stained gaze, coupled with her cold sword-like eyes, rendered her beauty striking without the need for excessive adornment. Now, with their simple disguises, Chu Qingyi shed her usual aloofness. Her raven-black hair was tied up, and her entire bearing exuded an air of a gentle and virtuous wife, a grace that made one want to tease her tenderly. Lu Changsheng promptly planted a kiss on her smooth, fair cheek. Chu Qingyi's expression turned flustered, her beautiful eyes filled with embarrassed anger. This man claimed he wouldn't force her, didn't he? Earlier, he had stubbornly held her hand, and now he was acting like this. Noticing the nearby shopkeeper watching them with a cheerful smile, Chu Qingyi shot Lu Changsheng a chastising glare before whispering, Lu Daoist, didn't you say this would be the end of it previously? S.E.A. The Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Indeed, I said Qingyi needn't feel obliged or force herself. Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly, drawing closer under Chu Qingjia's furious yet shy gaze. If Qingyi dislikes it, you can just tell me directly. Chu Qingyi, this man remains as shameless as ever, constantly pushing boundaries. Yet, for some reason, she was starting to get used to it. I noticed Qingyi hasn't said anything, nor did you resist. I thought you might not dislike it, Lu Chongsheng said softly, and his words weren't even fully spoken before he leaned closer to her luscious lips. Chu Qingyi turned crimson with shame, attempting to resist but not daring to exert too much force. She could only press her pink lips together and gently push him away. After several breaths, her face burned with anger and embarrassment as she stammered, You broke your promise. Even with her mild temperament, she couldn't help but feel frustrated at the moment. Looking at Chu Qingjia's cold yet clear gaze, as pure and tender as water, accompanied by her ashamed and angry expression, Lu Chongsheng whispered, I only thought Qingyi seemed burdened. I was hoping to cheer you up a little. Chu Qingyi. Do you not understand why I seem burdened? And is this your idea of cheering someone up? Chu Qingyi pulled Lu Chongsheng out of the shop, pursed her lips, mustering her courage to speak softly, Lu Daoist, I have no intention of pursuing matters of romance, nor can I betray Shiyu. What if Shiyu doesn't mind? Lu Chongsheng suddenly interjected. Chu Qingyi froze, momentarily struck dumb. Yet upon reflection, if there weren't her junior sister's involvement, and no need to worry about being reprimanded by her master, it seemed she wouldn't feel as resistant after all. She quickly steadied her mind, shaking her head as she replied, Lu Daoist, this isn't related to Shiyu. Right now, I am focused on cultivation and uninterested in affairs of romance. I understand, Qingyi. Lu Changsheng's tone carried a trace of despondency. Lu Daoist, for those who succeed in cultivation, all are absorbed in it, indifferent to emotional attachments. Matters of romance. Daoist, you have the talent of a heavenly being, you should prioritize cultivation, Chu Qingyi said, her heart feeling an inkling of pity. To her, Lu Chongsheng focusing his thoughts on romantic matters was simply a waste of his natural gifts. Emotional attachments are fundamental to human nature. If ascension requires discarding them, what would be the meaning of cultivation? Lu Chongsheng shook his head lightly as he replied. Qingyi thinks I'm overly captivated by beauty and romance? But each person has their own path. I abandoned the sword Dao to experience various great Daos, and I discovered that this is the Dao I pursue. Lu Chongsheng gazed at Chu Qingyi with utmost seriousness. This, listening to his candid yet unmistakably infused with demon path ideology words, Chu Qingyi found herself at a loss for how to respond. So, I've become part of his Dao too? If he couldn't pursue me successfully, would that mean his great Dao wouldn't achieve perfection? She let out a sigh. Romantic entanglements and beauty are of no benefit to cultivation. Such pursuits are trivial paths. Daoist, with your celestial talents, you should transcend such distractions. That's why I call myself an ordinary man. I adore beauty, just as Qingyi loves swords, it has nothing to do with great Daos or small paths. Lu Chongsheng didn't argue further, chuckling lightly as he spoke. Chu Qingyi said no more. She understood her current state, if she kept arguing with him, she'd only end up influenced by this person. Lu Chongsheng remained undeterred, calmly holding Chu Qingjia's hand as they wandered leisurely. This shameless man, truly the absolute worst. Nangong Meili from the formless domain watched the scene unfold, her face icy with disdain as she muttered curses, feeling Lu Chongsheng was quite suited to walking the demon path. Yet, as she considered how he, despite his strength, was willing to humor Chu Qingyi and herself, she begrudgingly admitted he had his positives. Had he been like certain demonic path cultivators, arrogantly reckless, it would only awaken deep-seated disgust in her. Although the great dream Immortal City was bustling, it couldn't completely fulfill Lu Changsheng's procurement needs. Whether it was rare materials or earth-grade water bloodline dragon blood demon beasts, none could be obtained directly. He would have to wait for auctions or trading fairs. Passing by a pavilion with the words, Heaven Knowledge Tower, inscribed on it, Lu Chongsheng led Chu Qingyi inside to inquire about intelligence regarding the Tianyuan secret realm, as well as the situation surrounding the Qingyun sect and by Lake Mountain. Moments later, the Heavenly Sword sect's Yun Jianfeng has broken through to Nascent Soul and joined Xianjian True Monarch in ambushing the Heavenly Fiend True Monarch at the Tianyuan secret realm. Heavenly Fiend True Monarch's physical body was destroyed, and only his nascent soul allowed him to narrowly escape with his life. Lu Chongsheng read the information from the Jade Slip, astonished. Back in the Tianyuan secret realm, he knew that nascent souls were clashing outside. It had even been mentioned by the Tianyuan True Monarch that 3 nascent soul cultivators were involved. But he never would have thought that the 3rd nascent soul True Monarch was also from the Heavenly Sword sect. It turned out to be Yun Jianfeng, the one who suppressed demonic path cultivators in Jiuxiao Immortal City years ago. This cultivator formed a superior gold core, and 5 or 6 decades ago was already regarded as second only to Xianjian True Monarch. Now breaking through to nascent soul, it's certainly reasonable, Lu Chongsheng mused inwardly. The Heavenly Sword sect gaining another nascent soul True Monarch was undeniably a major event. It might even impact the future trajectory of Jianghu country. Especially since both of these nascent soul True Monarchs seem to be formidable figures. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1331. Back then, Xianjian True Monarch fought alone against 2 nascent souls of Jin Kingdom. Now, this absolute sword True Monarch, shortly after breaking through to Nascent Soul, almost ambushed a Nascent Soul True Lord with Xianjian True Monarch, which is clearly extraordinary. Could it be that what Yun Wanshang mentioned about the Pioneer Order is actually Heavenly Sword sect's intent to expand the territory of Jianghu country? Or perhaps, with long-standing conflicts between Liang country and Yu country, Jianghu country and Yu country intend to take the initiative, sparking a war in the cultivation world? Lu Chongsheng speculated in his heart. Having an additional nascent soul True Lord in Jianghu country is naturally a good thing. But the resources needed for a nascent soul True Lord to cultivate are also immense. As a sect's ancestor, if one does not venture out to seek opportunities and resources, the most common way is to seize resources through war. Qingyi, do you know about Absolute Sword True Monarch's breakthrough? At this moment, Lu Chongsheng thought of the Qingyun sect authority beside him and asked aloud. Yes, Absolute Sword True Monarch had already cultivated to the peak of core formation, always waiting for the opportunity to break through to nascent soul. Xianjian True Monarch calculated that Absolute Sword True Monarch's breakthrough opportunity lay in the Tianyuan secret realm, which is why the Tianyuan secret realm was sealed in earlier years, due to Absolute Sword True Monarch's attempt to breach nascent soul. Chu Qingyi said softly. Though this matter was considered a secret, now that the Tianyuan secret realm affair is over, it's not much of a secret anymore. Absolute Sword True Monarch broke through to nascent soul in the Tianyuan secret realm. Lu Chongsheng was surprised in his heart. He had previously heard that there were nascent soul opportunities in the Tianyuan secret realm, thinking it was fake news, with someone deliberately muddying the waters. Unexpectedly, the rumors turned out to be true, and this newly advanced True Monarch successfully broke through in the Tianyuan secret realm. Yes, I heard from the Supreme Elder that breaking through from core formation to nascent soul requires not only one's foundation but also the influence of celestial transformations and mysterious destiny. The Tianyuan secret realm not only has a 4th-rank spirit vein but also possesses a celestial fortune, perfectly suited for Absolute Sword True Monarch to assault nascent soul. Chu Qingyi spoke up and said so. Lu Chongsheng nodded slightly. Regarding the breakthrough from core formation to nascent soul, he had heard about it from Hong Lian. It not only requires the right time, place, and people but is also connected to the mysterious destiny of heaven and earth. Therefore, to break through to nascent soul, many people will wait for the right opportunity. Is Xianjian True Monarch also a diviner? At this point, Lu Chongqing thought about what Chu Qingyi had said about Xianjian true monarch's calculation and couldn't help raising an eyebrow, inquiring aloud. Yes, Xianjian true monarch's divination art is extraordinary, being the top divination grandmaster in Jianghu country. Chu Qingyi nodded gently. These individuals who can become nascent soul true monarchs are indeed remarkable. Especially this Xianjian true monarch, who is not only formidable in combat but also skilled in divination. Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, feeling that interacting with nascent soul immortals was alright. However, when it comes to nascent soul true lords and those proficient in divination, it's best to avoid them. Although the art of divination can only make vague predictions for these individuals, if they predict you have issues, it's troublesome. But with the mysterious heaven spiritual vine at home suppressing destiny, as long as he's not noticed, there shouldn't be major issues. He continued to ask, Qingyi, now that Heavenly Sword sect has an additional nascent soul true lord, will they initiate a war of expansion or a cultivation war? Heavenly Sword sect intends to pioneer the Myriad Beasts mountain range, but as for a cultivation war, I am not certain at the moment. Chu Qingyi said so. Currently, in the cultivation world of Jianghu country, besides the Myriad Beasts mountain range, there aren't many spirit veins open for pioneering. For mountain ranges like Luoyun mountain range, Heavenly Sword sect doesn't even consider it. Even if they plan to pioneer, it's up to forces like Qingyun sect, Wuxia sect, and Spirit Taming sect to decide based on circumstances. Lu Chongqing nodded, understanding that once Heavenly Sword sect decides to pioneer, it will undoubtedly impact other immortal forces. Qingyi, if you reach the peak of core formation and want to assault nascent soul, can you use the dojo of Heavenly Sword sect for the breakthrough? At this moment, Lu Chongqing thought of a question. He remembered that the spiritual vein of Qingyun sect lacks the 4th rank, unable to support a nascent soul cultivator's breakthrough. So he was curious, if Yun Wanshang cultivates to the peak of core formation, could she go to Heavenly Sword sect for the breakthrough? After all, Jianghu country's 4 great immortal sects are like branches of the same tree, so borrowing the spiritual vein dojo for a breakthrough sounds reasonable. If you pay a certain price, it should be possible. However, breaking through to nascent soul emphasizes the right time, place, and people, and the mysterious fortune of timing, so most people choose to go out on adventures to seek nascent soul opportunities. Chu Qingyi thought for a moment before saying so. Search * the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Although 4th rank spirit veins are rare, according to records of Qingyun sect, there are quite a few 4th rank immortal cities in the southern wilderness. As long as one pays the price, going to these immortal cities for a breakthrough is also possible. Even though the 4 great immortal sects seem like branches of the same tree, it's uncertain whether Heavenly Sword sect wants them to produce more nascent soul cultivators or not. After all, though the 4 great immortal sects seem to be of the same level, everyone knows that Jianghu country only acknowledges Heavenly Sword sect as the overlord. Lu Daoist, if you want to assault nascent soul in the future, you might visit the major 4th rank immortal cities first, Chu Qingyi said in a low voice. In her view, with Lu Changsheng's talent, he is bound to assault nascent soul in the future. I'm just asking. Lu Chongqing laughed. He still has a long way to go before reaching nascent soul. Who knows, one day the system might give him a 4th rank spirit vein, so there's no rush now. However, from Chu Qingyi's words, he realized that the relationship between the 4 great immortal sects is not as harmonious as it appears on the surface. It's quite normal when you think about it. Now the 4 great immortal sects are stable. But if the Qingyun sect, Wuxia sect, or Spirit Taming sect produces a nascent soul true lord, can the balance still be maintained? Can the cultivation world of Jianghu country really support so many nascent soul true lords? Then, Lu Chongqing turned to the latest information and intelligence from Qingyun sect and by Lake Mountain. From it, he saw the information that Qingyun sect's Qingyi true master went missing in the Tianyuan secret realm, and by Lake Mountain's ancestor, Lu Chongsheng, was ambushed by a nascent soul immortal in the Tianyuan secret realm, suspected to have fallen in the secret realm. Why is it that you went missing, but am merely suspected to have fallen in the secret realm? Lu Chongsheng felt a bit displeased seeing this information. Although Heaven Knowledge Tower is an intelligence organization, it's impossible for them to verify everything, and some intelligence information will be subjectively judged. I am an elder of Qingyun sect, and unless the sect itself disseminates exact information, there will be no external news regarding my fall. Seeing Lu Changsheng's reaction, Chu Qingyi found it somewhat amusing and said softly, Lu Chongsheng nodded, thinking that after experiencing such an incident, his wives and children at home would definitely be worried. Although they might be able to reach him through the Mount Sumer Tree King and ensure his safety as long as he's not noticed, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. Well, if there's nothing else, I should be heading back. Lu Chongsheng took a deep breath, and the thought of flirting disappeared. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1332, Great Dream Marsh. The vast waters stretch endlessly, majestic and boundless. Qingyi, since this is not to your liking, let's part here. Lu Chongsheng suddenly looked at Chu Qingyi, sighed and said, with our parting today, I will consider this time as nothing but a dream. When we meet again in the future, let us regard each other as fellow Daoists. While speaking, he released Chu Qingyi's slender, fair hand and slowly put on a ring. As if noticing Chu Qingyi's puzzlement, Lu Chongsheng whispered, It's just a little trinket I bought earlier, doesn't cost much, just consider it a memento. If you don't like it, feel free to throw it away. Chu Qingyi was slightly stunned. She had sensed before that Lu Chongsheng seemed troubled. Thought he was worried about family matters. Now hearing these words, she realized he was conflicted about his own issues. Sarch * the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Looking at Lu Chongsheng with eyes no longer filled with gentle affection, but rather with calm and composure, Chu Qingyi's expression became slightly dazed. As if the tender words, the sweet affection from before, were all just a dream. Did he really just let go like this? Was it because her previous rejection hurt him? Or, did he understand her true desires and chose to let go? Regarding our matter, if Master asks, Chu Daoist, you don't need to hide anything. I will explain to Shi Yu and Master myself. As for others, I hope Chu Daoist will cover for me a little. If anything happens, you can come to Bai Lake Mountain to find me anytime. After speaking, Lu Chongsheng showed a trace of gentle reluctance in his eyes. Yet with a resolute demeanor, he cupped his hands and transformed into a divine rainbow, flying towards the 9 heavens gang wind. Chu Qingyi looked at the vanished Lu Chongsheng, all the interactions between them over the past few days surged to her heart unexpectedly. She bit her lip lightly, looking at the ring on her slender fingers, feeling somewhat at a loss, just feeling empty and lost. Sigh, a moment later, Chu Qingyi sighed deeply. Whether it was in the Tianyuan Lotus where he exerted great effort to save her, or the intimate time spent in the dream immortal city, it was all unforgettable for her. Perhaps at any time she would think of him. Especially, he left her with this ring before leaving. Afraid that in the future, seeing this ring would uncontrollably remind her of him. Even though he said if she didn't like it, she could throw it away. But could she throw away the ring, erase his traces? Chu Qingyi knew that her sword heart had already gathered dust. Taking a deep breath, her beautiful eyes gradually became clear and determined, her sword intent sharp, then she transformed into a sword light and shot up into the sky, disappearing in the 9 heavens gang wind. Lu Chongsheng was stepping on the starlight plate, surrounded by the flowing luster of countless stars. He certainly did not really intend to separate from her forever. Simply knowing Chu Qingyi's character, capturing her heart would not be achieved in a moment, better to alternate between warmth and cold for a while. Moreover, being born with a sword heart, her years of cultivation have already made her dedication to the sword surpass emotional attachments. Even if feelings have stirred in her heart, a period of calm is needed, waiting for the seed to slowly sprout, not too hastily. As for giving the ring, besides hoping she would think of him when seeing the ring, it is also a form of probing. Even if she throws away the ring, she can't stop cultivating, right? Lu Changsheng's mental spirit stirred slightly, his qi ocean core trembled, and a faint golden transparent will appeared, spiraling in his hand. Buzz, a woman of breathtaking beauty and sensuality appeared, her skin fair as jade, curves astonishing, wearing a purple dress. Meili, it's been hard on you these days. Lu Changsheng looked at the purple-dressed woman, her face filled with anger, and gently said, reaching out to clasp her seemingly boneless slender hand. Go away, you scoundrel. Nangong Meili, having seen Lu Changsheng being affectionate with Chu Qingyi, was naturally displeased, feeling jealous and bitter. Now released from the formless domain by Lu Changsheng, her pent-up anger suddenly erupted, she slapped his hand away. Huh, still jealous, are you? You know the situation before. If Qingyun sect found out you were in Jiang country, it would definitely cause trouble, so I did it for your own good. Lu Changsheng didn't get angry, spoke with a laugh. Humph, that woman is still recovering from serious injury, hardly my opponent. Nangong Meili said with disdain, her face icy. Though suppressed by Lu Changsheng, she was nonetheless a core formation middle-stage cultivator. Meili, you didn't cause trouble for me before, I'm very happy, but I don't like the way you're speaking now. Lu Changsheng glanced at her, his voice calm and indifferent, yet carried unquestionable authority. With women like Chu Qingyi, gentle words are appropriate. But with women like Nangong Meili, it's clearly ineffective. Even speaking kindly to her might cause her to disdain you. Who wants you to like it? And, who's your wife? Nangong Meili said with a look of disgust and contempt. Facing Chu Qingyi, he was so gentle, but with her, he showed no patience. You came to Jiang country not just for the Tianyuan secret realm, but for another purpose, didn't you? Lu Changsheng's expression was calm, speaking blandly. Previously in the Tianyuan secret realm, Nangong Meili suddenly attacked him, using a love gu, which made him suspect she came for more than just the Tianyuan secret realm, possibly to seek revenge. After all, the loss from the Lockhart gu, she surely wouldn't swallow it. Moreover, when they united energetically, he used the yin-yang energies to nurture her true elixir, bringing out some golden core charm. For a nascent soul cultivator, the transformation of true elixir into golden core is an irresistible temptation, surely she wouldn't want to miss it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1333, So Lu Changsheng guessed, this woman was using the love gu on him, having such intentions. Naturally, you humiliated me back then, used the Lockhart gu on me and Xiao Chan, how can this grudge be easily dismissed? Nangong Meili was dressed in a purple gauze dress, her figure gracefully alluring. Even with her face cold as frost at this moment, she still exuded enchanting charm, utterly seductive. 100 years cultivate crossing the same boat, 1,000 years cultivate sharing the same bed, there's no overnight grudge between husband and wife. This matter has passed for so long, let the rights and wrongs be left behind. Lu Changsheng was too lazy to argue or explain anything to the other party, speaking up. Nangong Meili couldn't believe this person had the audacity to speak such shameless words. Who would cultivate sharing the same bed with you? Alright, tell me how you've been these years, and the situation with Yao Yao and Xiao Chan. Lu Changsheng's voice softened a bit, speaking up. Not only feeling a bit guilty towards his daughter, but also towards Meng Xiao Chan. After all, the Lockhart gu has troubled her until now. And Nangong Meili knew the Lockhart gu was related to Meng Xiao Chan, she would certainly blame her. These have nothing to do with you. Nangong Meili's willow eyebrows furrowed, her long Danfeng eyes shone with a cold light, like a thorny rose. Even though she knew, as long as she obediently yielded, she might obtain golden core opportunities from Lu Changsheng. But as the dignified heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, does she need to lose face? Besides, if she were to yield, what if afterwards this dog man competes with her for her daughter? Right now, she was most worried that Lu Changsheng would take away her daughter. Meili, as your husband, I speak well to you, why won't you speak well to me? Lu Changsheng frowned, feeling this woman was simply incessant. One must know, his patience is limited. I have nothing to say to you, this person. Nangong Meili snorted disdainfully with full contempt. Alas! Lu Changsheng looked at Nangong Meili's exquisitely beautiful face, and sighed helplessly. If softness doesn't work, then he can only be hard, educating her well, conquering her. In the next moment, Nangong Meili saw Lu Changsheng closing in. An invisible domain confined her, her complexion changed slightly, she said coldly, Lu Changsheng, what are you doing? There's no overnight grudge between husband and wife, if there is, conflicts at the head of the bed, peace at the foot. Lu Changsheng looked at Nangong Meili trying to escape, suddenly an astonishing amount of mana surged out, the terrifying spiritual pressure distorted the world. Buzz buzz buzz, CTH Ovalfire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Behind him, the formless treasure will spun, like a golden sun burning. Yin-yang energies flowed around him, spreading wildly, forming a yin-yang Daoist chart, sealing the heavens and earth. The law domain has little effect on nascent soul cultivators. However, Lu Changsheng being the yin-yang great Dao golden core, with the formless treasure wheel's blessing, even against nascent soul immortals, has certain effects of mana confinement, sealing the heavens. Boom! At the same time, Lu Changsheng's chest 9 treasures Rui Bone emitted brilliant 9-colored rays. Symbols like tadpoles intertwined, surged, were injected into Nangong Meili's physique, her meridians and dantian. Originally breaking the sealing divine light, Nangong Meili suddenly felt the mana in her body slowing. Immediately after, Lu Changsheng domineeringly embraced the beauty before him. No doubt, Nangong Meili was born to be a seductress. Evidently slender figure, yet the body was explosive to the extreme, with curves, utterly alluring. Truly every inch of skin, every part, exuded soul-stirring fatal temptation. Lu Changsheng, you dog man, what are you doing? Nangong Meili's expression turned pale, she hurriedly shouted. Spoken well and you don't listen, hence I'll let you know what husbandly authority means. As Lu Changsheng spoke, he directly tore Nangong Meili's exquisite and gorgeous clothes into rags, revealing skin as white as snow, partly hidden and partly visible, irresistibly seductive. Bastard, Lu Changsheng, you bastard! Nangong Meili felt extremely humiliated, a surge of indescribable emotion arose in her heart. Even though decades had passed, she still remembered the pain and humiliation when Lu Changsheng abused her back then. Meili, are you deliberately provoking me, just waiting for this ordeal in your heart? Lu Changsheng's physique was robust, making Nangong Meili unable to struggle or move. He whispered close to her earlobe, which was like flawless jade. The magnetic bass of his voice made Nangong Meili's delicate body tremble, her long slender legs radiant and tingling. You're talking nonsense, dog man, stay away from me. Nangong Meili's face was full of humiliation and fury, she gritted her teeth. Earlier seeing Lu Changsheng condensing the superior grade gold core for Chu Qingyi, she had guessed that nurturing golden core charm might require this ordeal. Yet how would she expect such an ordeal? Really, I feel your body, Meili, is quite honest. Lu Changsheng teased Nangong Meili's ear, which was like jade fat, with his tongue, his hands measuring the slippery and soft fullness and the enticing round curves. Lu Changsheng, you are simply a bastard, shameless. Nangong Meili, although gritting her teeth fiercely, her head slightly raised, her exquisitely beautiful face showing a few enchanting blushes, making her incredibly alluring. Even though Lu Changsheng was battle-hardened, seeing Nangong Meili incredibly charming and seductive, yet authoritative and stunningly beautiful, he felt somewhat restless, having an impulse to conquer her. Yet he still maintained rationality, knowing this place belonged to the 9th heavenly gang wind layer, possibly having nascent soul immortal passing by. Immediately driving the starlight plate, like a comet, he rushed towards the great dream marsh below. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1334, Whoosh. Just as they entered the water's surface, the two of them entered the Tianyuan lotus. It had to be said, with the Tianyuan lotus as a cave heaven treasure, everything became much more convenient. Lu Changsheng, you. Emin, hiss, stop now. Lu Changsheng, I must kill you. Time passed slowly. No one knew how long it had been. Nangong Meili's delicate cheeks were blushing pink, with a few strands of sweaty hair sticking to them. Her tender red lips were slightly parted, breathing warmth, her whole body softened like silk, motionless. Her full forehead, perfect cheeks, slender jade-like neck, exquisite collarbone, flawless jade body, all covered in fine beads of sweat, shining with a pink hue, saintly yet alluring, making one's blood race. The originally cold and beautiful phoenix eyes were now misty, halfway open and closed, with a trace of seductive charm swirling within. Sir the Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Meili, I told you, there are no overnight grudges between husband and wife. Lu Changsheng looked at the marks on her snowy skin, unable to keep tormenting any further. After all, men tend to be soft-hearted. Even though he had been stern with Nangong Meili before. But after several rounds of torment, seeing her so weak and helpless, he felt a little heartache. After all, one's wife still needed some cherishing. And such matters in excess would not be good. Nangong Meili remained silent, her phoenix eyes filled with shame and hatred. In those days, she was severely injured and burdened by her Dao heart vow and her disciple Meng Xiaochan, so she was humiliated and trampled by Lu Changsheng in every way. But now, she had no power to resist in front of Lu Changsheng. Whether in cultivation level and magical power or physical physique, she was completely suppressed by him. And at the speed Lu Changsheng was growing, she feared she would never have a chance for revenge. Alright, now tell me about your situation these years. Lu Changsheng wiped the fragrant sweat from Nangong Meili's body, speaking gently. He then added, if you keep being stubborn, don't blame your husband for being rude. Nangong Meili just wanted to retort, but the burning pain on her snowy backside made her heart tremble with a difficult-to-describe feeling. She glared at Lu Changsheng, saying coldly, fine, no need for you to worry. Fine, then why do you keep running to Jianghu country every day? Do you not know the Tianyuan secret realm is dangerous? This time, a nascent soul true lord almost died, isn't your level just courting death? Hearing this, Lu Changsheng spoke with discontent. A nascent soul true lord almost died? Nangong Meili was somewhat surprised. Although she knew the Tianyuan secret realm was causing quite a stir. But being suppressed by Lu Changsheng in the formless domain, she was unclear of the result. Yun Jianfang broke through to nascent soul, ambushing the heavenly fiend true monarch of the heavenly slaughter sect outside the secret realm with Xianjian true monarch, causing his physical body to shatter, and only his nascent soul managed to escape. The nascent soul cultivators that came with you to make trouble were nearly all dead. Lu Changsheng recounted the situation of the secret realm, then coldly said, if something were to happen to you, what about Yao Yao? Hearing this, Nangong Meili suddenly felt a bit fortunate in her heart. Though she had the misty sky bead with her, in such a situation, it was really hard to say if she could escape unharmed. Yet, though she was wrong and guilty, seeing Lu Changsheng reprimand her coldly, she still looked unconvinced as she said, what does that have to do with you? Smack! A crisp sound rang out. The snowy white and crimson red surface stirred up a mesmerizing wave. Lu Changsheng, I'll fight you to the end. Nangong Mili's disheveled hair, her crimson face full of shame and coldness, said through gritted teeth. However, before she finished speaking, Lu Changsheng had already subdued her. How did you manage to get to this point in the demon sect, not understanding a bit of the situation, or perhaps you think I won't kill you, so you dare to act like this? Lu Changsheng spoke with furrowed brows. Nangong Mili's heart trembled. It seemed like she indeed did not unconsciously worry about Lu Changsheng killing her. Just like when Lu Changsheng was suppressing her before, she could have fought back, using a life-saving goo insect, but she did not choose to do so. Or maybe, you just like me treating you this way? Lu Changsheng leaned close to her delicate crystalline earlobe, speaking softly. Her earlobe seemed small and delicate, yet was plump and fleshy, sweet and chewy, truly a superb flavor to taste. Lu Changsheng gave it a lick, took it into his mouth, savoring it gently. Nangong Mili's breath suddenly quickened, her brow furrowed, swatting away Lu Changsheng's actions, her face lush and enticingly beautiful. She said, "Get lost, don't think everyone is like you." Ha ha. Lu Changsheng chuckled softly, reached out to caress Nangong Mili's rosy cheeks. Nangong Mili instinctively tried to dodge, speaking coldly, "What do you want to do?" Though the person before her wouldn't kill her, he would humiliate her in 100 ways. "Your hair is a bit messy, let me smooth it out." Lu Changsheng spoke gently, smoothing a few strands of sweaty hair from her cheek behind her ear. Nangong Mili, seeing this behavior from him, a strange feeling arose in her heart. "Did you come over this time looking for my nurturing true elixir?" Lu Changsheng continued speaking. This woman, although she admired the strong, was also strong-willed, and couldn't be pressed too hard or treated too excessively. Give a big stick, then a sweet treat, only then can you slowly tame. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1335, That's right. Nangong Mili frankly admitted. After all, this was her purpose for coming. If she denied it, saying she came just for revenge would seem too fake. But this man mentioned it proactively. Did he want to nurture her golden core? He. Lu Changsheng chuckled, gently caressing Nangong Mili's coldly beautiful cheek, whispering, "You know, as your husband, I always bend to gentleness rather than strength." Nangong Mili's eyes were clear and narrow, like swirling smoke on water, understanding what he meant. If she wanted to nurture the golden core, she had to yield and ask him. They already had this relationship, and being treated this way now, lowering her head and yielding didn't seem like a big deal. After all, compared to the opportunity of the golden core, what's yielding? Many people want it but can't obtain it. But thinking about everything between herself and Lu Changsheng, Nangong Mili couldn't lower her head. I don't ask much of you, just speak nicely." Lu Changsheng's handsome face, eyes warm, spoke gently. Upon hearing these calm words, an indescribable feeling surged within Nangong Mili. This wretched man was like a storm earlier, but he didn't mistreat her as he did back then. Otherwise, with this wretched man's physique, even though she was a nascent soul immortal, shed still. Moreover, Lu Changsheng had helped heal her injuries in the past and gifted her an exotic treasure. Now, he suppressed her, but it was her who initiated, indirectly saving her life. Even the recent humiliation she endured was sparked by her provoking him. Thinking this way, Nangong Mili suddenly felt that maybe it was her fault. "Alright, tell me about the years past, as I have genuinely cared about you and Yao Yao." The novel, F.I.R. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changsheng continued to speak gently, pulling Nangong Mili into his embrace, resting his chin on her silky hair. Even though Nangong Mili knew Lu Changsheng's appearance was deceitful, she softened a bit, speaking softly. "After my injuries healed mostly, I traversed the myriad beasts mountain range with Xiaochan back to Jin Kingdom. As for other things, there's nothing much to say. She understood that Lu Changsheng, unlike many righteous cultivators, didn't hold too much of a difference between righteousness and demonic paths. But ultimately, he wasn't a demonic path cultivator. There was nothing to say about her doings in the Five Poisons cult to Lu Changsheng. Traversing the Myriad Beasts mountain range, Lu Changsheng nodded slightly, aware of Nangong Mili's situation and the danger she and Meng Xiaochan faced crossing the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Moreover, traveling from the Myriad Beasts mountain range to Jin Kingdom required taking a large detour. What about Yao Yao? Lu Changsheng continued to inquire, being the matter he cared about most. Yao Yao is my daughter, has nothing to do with you. Lu Changsheng, I warn you, don't have any ideas about her. Nangong Mili immediately said with vigilance. Yet her exquisitely beautiful face still held a trace of spring charm that made her appear enchanting and rendered her utterly lacking in intimidation. She is my daughter, how can I not care for her? Lu Changsheng replied helplessly. Nonetheless, from Nangong Mili's reaction, he understood she truly loved her daughter dearly, needing no worry about her daughter being bullied. As for whether the daughter had grown crooked, Lu Changsheng wasn't concerned anymore. Having such a mother and growing up in Five Poisons cult, it'd be a miracle if she didn't. Thus, Lu Changsheng had mentally prepared in advance to avoid disappointment when they met. Humph, whatever you say, she's my daughter and has nothing to do with you. Nangong Mili coldly fixed her elegant eyes, not yielding even a bit. Her daughter Nangong Yao Yao was her bottom line. Even if she wanted Lu Changsheng to nurture her golden core, she wouldn't hand her daughter over to him. Jin Kingdom, places like the Five Poisons cult are ultimately not good places. Yao Yao growing up in such an environment isn't good. Lu Changsheng sighed slightly. What's wrong with the Five Poisons cult? Is it better at your by Lake Mountain? Nangong Mili was instantly annoyed. Although the demonic path had a bad reputation. For her, righteous and demonic were the same. Where's the righteousness better? Moreover, she was the heavenly spider envoy of Five Poisons cult, her daughter had access to abundant resources and future prospects, expected to achieve core formation, even capable of nascent soul. In Bai Lake Mountain, this wretched man's wives and children were countless. What would he provide her daughter? Alright, tell me about Yao Yao's situation. Lu Changsheng saw she was exasperated, embraced her graceful figure, smoothing her silky hair while enjoying her fragrant scent. Unsure whether it was due to her cultivation method or the effect of the profound charming body, the fragrance was delightful. Nangong Mili's fleeting emotions quickly dissipated. She realized this man was truly changeable. When he was opposing her earlier, it was as if, now he's unexpectedly gentle. However, this gentle demeanor made Nangong Mili feel a wave of tenderness surge within. Yao Yao is doing well, she has already broken through to foundation establishment and can stand on her own. Nangong Mili spoke softly, eyes gleaming with pride. Her daughter's talent far exceeded her mother's, her future accomplishments would surpass hers, making her deeply proud of her daughter Nangong Yao Yao. Yet thinking about being away for so long, missing her daughter, a sense of longing arose within her. Since her daughter's birth, she had always been by her side. Later, I'll accompany you to Jin Kingdom, and well visit Yao Yao. Lu Changsheng found Nangong Mili's demeanor amusing, pinching her cheek. No. She's my daughter and has nothing to do with you. Hearing this, Nangong Mili immediately lost her temper again, pushing Lu Changsheng away, speaking coldly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1336, In her eyes, this man just wants to take her daughter away. Even being so gentle to her, all calculated, is to take her daughter away. Just like in the past, he tormented her in every possible way, but when he knew she was pregnant, he suddenly acted all tender and affectionate. Thinking of this, Nangong Mili suddenly felt a surge of grievance in her heart. She's my daughter too. Lu Changsheng looked at her protective demeanor and was somewhat speechless, as if he would harm his own daughter. Seeing Nangong Mili still with a frosty expression, her phoenix eyes full of wrath, Lu Chongsheng immediately pinned her underneath. "This woman still owes, Lu Chongsheng, you bastard. Shameless scum. Dog man." Nangong Mili cursed, feeling humiliated and angry, with rage interwoven inside her. To think she, a dignified nascent soul immortal, the heavenly spider envoy of the five poisons cult in Jin Kingdom, is now being treated so wantonly by Lu Chongsheng. Afterwards. Lu Chongsheng looked at the jelly-like, weak Nangong Mili and once again sealed her within the formless treasure wheel. Even though the Tianyuan lotus possesses a cave heaven, he hasn't fully refined it and cannot imprison her yet. Moreover, there are still many things in the Tianyuan lotus, like the infant cultivation flower and heaven-replenishing fungus. If this woman went crazy and destroyed them, he truly wouldn't have a place to cry. Dog man, dog man. Nangong Mili shouted cursing as she saw Lu Chongsheng seal her within the formless domain again. But under the recent humiliation, her jade face flushed, her body soft and powerless, her voice thin as silk, as if coquettishly whimpering. SSS, Nangong Mili rubbed her burning snow-white bottom. In her heart, she thought how this man was full of tenderness a moment ago, and the next, turned hostile, confronting her harshly, as if wanting her to kneel on the ground. Dog man, this vengeance. Nangong Mili gritted her teeth, trying to say harsh words. But thinking she was completely no match for Lu Chongsheng, she wondered what to do if he heard and tormented her again. If this continues, she might really die. Sooner or later, I will make you repay every drop of humiliation you inflicted on me, 100-fold. Nangong Mili snorted softly, thinking this in her heart. Years ago, she thought of finding Lu Chongsheng to exact revenge, seeing him full of regret, crying miserably, begging for mercy on his knees, licking her high heels. For some reason, thinking of this scene now, Nangong Mili's soft and powerless delicate body couldn't help but tremble uncontrollably, her breathing suddenly rapid. After imagining for a moment, Nangong Mili looked at her chi ocean core, where the yin-yang fish swam around, and a surge of indescribable emotions arose in her heart. She closed her eyes, quietly refining this yin-yang energies. Lu Chongsheng looked at Nangong Mili in the formless domain, her face suddenly flushed, breathing rapid, looking joyous, and was a bit dumbfounded. What's going on? Does this woman have some hidden attribute? She's always suppressed herself in front of him, and now being sealed in the formless domain, she stops pretending? SSS, Lu Chongsheng looked at Nangong Mili in the formless domain, her jade body graceful, her figure enchanting, only wrapped in a layer of purple gauze, breathtakingly beautiful. He found it extremely stimulating, planning to try it later. After all, with Nangong Mili's strong personality, coupled with her status, it's easy to have certain thoughts. Who? Lu Chongsheng took a deep breath, exhaled, discarded the distracting thoughts, and steered the starlight plate, flying towards the direction of Bai Lake Mountain with all his strength. It's been 4 months since the news about the fall of Lu Chongsheng, the ancestor of Bai Lake Mountain, in the Tianyuan secret realm. Although the Lu family denied it, stating Lu Changsheng's soul lamp was still lit, most forces have assumed this Lu ancestor has fallen. With Lu Pingon and Lu Wangshu heading to Golden Dragon Ridge to establish their might, the reputation of Bai Lake Mountain remained secure, and no one dared to challenge them openly. However, secretly, some family forces were making moves to test the situation. For example, Lu Rui led a Lu family merchant team that encountered several ambushes en route. But besides Lu Rui, the team also had Zhou Datong and a loose cultivator who recently broke through at Bai Lake Mountain. With 3 Foundation establishment cultivators holding the fort, they did not face much danger. After all, with a precedent set, even if forces wanted to challenge the Lu family, they did not dare to do so overtly. And after the news reached Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Wangshu sent over 3 second-rank puppets. Lu Xianji also ordered his son Lu Xuanyu to bring the Lu family puppet guard squad along. 3 second-rank puppets, 36 first-grade top-level puppets, can form a simple formation that even ordinary foundation establishments would find hard to escape. This situation has directly elevated the fame of the Liu family puppets. At this moment, many forces finally realized that the main business of the By Lake Mountain Liu family wasn't elixir medicines or talismans, but puppets. Right now. By Lake Mountain. Huff huff huff, the nature's spiritual energy at Baiyun Peak was suddenly stirred, gradually forming a vortex. Someone is attempting foundation establishment. For the Liu family disciples and cultivators, this situation was not unexpected. Since the Liu family offered to refine foundation building elixirs and do it for free, cultivators have been continuously coming to By Lake Mountain for elixirs and foundation establishment attempts. Therefore, for over a year now, several people have been attempting foundation establishment at By Lake Mountain, making it unclear how many foundation establishment cultivators are actually at By Lake Mountain. Sir the Nephire. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After all, when attempts at foundation establishment are made, who knows if it's a loose cultivator or a Liu family disciple? Phew. However, several hours later, the spiritual energy vortex in the sky suddenly dissipated. Failed. Many who witnessed this scene shook their heads in sigh. Even though there were many attempts at foundation establishment in By Lake Mountain over the years. But even with foundation building elixirs, the success rate was only 30 to 50%. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1337, Inside the Secret Chamber of the Cave Mansion. Caizhen, I'm sorry, I've been useless and wasted your foundation establishment elixir. Hong Xuanji's face was pale, and in an instant, he seemed to have aged considerably, showing expressions of shame and disappointment. He originally thought he had no fate with foundation establishment in this life. Sarch * The Oval Fire. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But then his wife brought out a foundation establishment elixir, giving him hope for foundation establishment. After knowing, his father Hong Yi also resolutely offered all the family's savings to purchase foundation establishment spiritual objects for him. Yet in the end, it was all for naught. Husband, do not blame yourself. With your aptitude, at this age, even having a foundation establishment elixir, failure is normal. Liu Caizhen, looking at her husband's much older appearance, felt a bit heartbroken. She herself did not have a strong desire for foundation establishment, maintaining a normal state of mind. But she was well aware that her husband was very eager for foundation establishment. It was precisely for this reason that she took out the foundation establishment elixir left by her brother back then to seek a chance for foundation establishment for Hong Xuanji from her father. But ultimately, it still failed. Alas! Hong Xuanji sighed deeply, clenching his fists, unable to stop blaming himself. Husband, take care to rest well. Whether you achieve foundation establishment or not is not important. Restoring your health is crucial now. Liu Caizhen spoke to comfort him, taking out a porcelain bottle for Hong Xuanji. Although consuming the foundation establishment elixir and failing does not cause backlash or life-threatening danger, it can, depending on the situation, cause certain harm and a deficit of qi and blood. Thank you, Caizhen. Hong Xuanji received the elixir with a heavy expression and consumed it. Meanwhile, in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. Boom boom boom, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth surged wildly. From all sides of the cave heaven, the grayish chaotic air seemed to be cleared and constantly evolved. Is this the third-rank spirit vein? Lu Miaoyun looked at the situation ahead with some surprise. She knew that the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru cave heaven was advancing to the third rank, but she did not know what a third-rank spirit vein would look like or how rich the spiritual energy would be. Ling Zixiao nodded slightly, saying, however, compared to the spirit vein's advancement, the progress of Senior Mount Sumeru seems even greater. She was somewhat familiar with the situation of the Mount Sumeru Tree King. She knew that under normal circumstances, such demon plants grow very slowly and may take millennia to improve slightly. However, the Mount Sumeru Tree King can nourish itself with its inner world, accelerating growth. The original Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven was chaos, with only a simple outline. Now nurturing a third-rank spirit vein has brought the entity a significant boost. Is this a true spirit? Such growth is indeed terrifying. In the Peachwood spirit womb, Hong Lian was also awakened by the commotion of the Mount Sumeru Tree King, amazed at its growth speed. With just a third-rank spirit vein, it achieved such enhancements. If there were a fourth-rank spirit vein, wouldn't it directly grow from the third to the fourth rank? Boom boom boom, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven continued to evolve, expanding the size of the cave heaven. Miaoge, Miaoyun, watched this closely. Ling Zixiao watched for a moment, then stepped out of the cave heaven to manage the family's great formation, in case the situation with the Mount Sumeru Tree King caused too much commotion. Clatter, the Tree King, with its body like gold and jade, gently swayed, as if there was a Buddhist chant resonating, causing auspicious energy to surge at the top of Baiyun Peak while divine light flowed. Although the Mount Sumeru Tree King could suppress the disturbance itself, Ling Zixiao still brought the inverted five elements great formation on the mountain top to full operation, causing an invisible mist to slowly flow and surge. Outside the mountain gate of Qingyun sect, a streak of sword light seemed to descend from the heavens, revealing a peerlessly beautiful woman with a straight nose, eyes sharp as a sword, with a cool demeanor carrying a few hints of heroism. Greetings to Qingyi True Master. Greetings to Qingyi True Master. The disciples of the Qingyun sect guarding the mountain gate, upon seeing this woman, showed expressions of surprise, delight, and reverence. Even though they were only in Qi refinement or foundation establishment, they had heard of Chu Qingjia's disappearance in the Tianyuan secret realm. Now seeing their true master return safely, they were naturally overjoyed. Chu Qingyi took out a token and walked into the sect, gazing at Kaiyun Peak in the distance, subconsciously touching the ring on her ring finger. Upon her return, her master would surely inquire about what she encountered in the Tianyuan secret realm. Even now, she didn't know how to narrate her experiences. She took a deep breath and, instead of flying directly to Kaiyun Peak, walked toward it step by step. Along the way, disciples of the Qingyun sect who saw her displayed expressions of awe, respect, admiration, and reverence, bowing as they passed. Chu Qingyi looked at these people and recalled the words of Lu Changsheng. Many loose cultivators forsake their families, abandon lovers, leave friends behind, and wander the world in search of immortality, only to end up impoverished, lonely, and buried in the wilderness with no accomplishment in the Tao. It's not just the loose cultivators. Even those who join Qingyun sect and become disciples of the Immortal sect often miss the chance of foundation establishment. Even if some achieve foundation establishment, how many reach core formation? As for nascent soul, the vast Qingyun sect does not currently have a nascent soul true lord seated. The great Tao is vast, having a few confidants to support each other through the vast years is indeed a fortunate thing. Upon seeing people who resembled couples, Chu Qingjia's mind replayed this sentence. Evidently, Lu Changsheng's words and actions had an effect. Her originally pure and flawless sword heart had been stained with an indelible speck of dust. Alas! Chu Qingyi sighed softly and finally transformed into a beam of sword light, suddenly arriving at the top of Kaiyun Peak. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1338, Qingyi pays her respects to Master. Chu Qingyi arrived in front of Kaiyun Hall and bowed. A moment later, the grand doors of the palace opened with a rumble. A noble woman with moth-like eyebrows and a celestial bearing, wearing a magnificent colorful palace gown, stepped out. Qingyi, you have returned. Upon seeing Chu Qingyi before her, Yun Wanshang's elegant and beautiful face showed a comforting smile. Just by observing her disciple's essence, she could tell that this journey had yielded significant fortune. However, the next moment, her brow slightly furrowed. From her disciple Chu Qingyi, she sensed a faint yet familiar aura. This aura was very similar to the magic aura of Lu Changsheng from back then, resembling the yin-yang energies. This. Yun Wanshang's heart slightly sank as a premonition of doom welled up. She realized that the thing she feared most had happened. "Master, your disciple has worried you these days." Chu Qingyi spoke up. "Come inside first. Earlier, I saw your soul lamp flickering, so I asked Xianjian True Monarch to calculate your situation. He said that blessings and misfortunes are intertwined. It seems now that you have had quite a fortuitous encounter." Yun Wanshang took a deep breath to calm her emotions, speaking gently. Chu Qingyi's heart trembled upon hearing this. The opportunities she encountered on this trip were more than significant. Originally, she was just a half-step golden core, but she condensed into a second-grade golden core. She's just half a step away from advancing to a first-grade immortal golden core. Moreover, she obtained a top-level sword Dao inheritance, 7 luminaries great freedom sword scripture. Thinking of these things, Chu Qingyi's mind was in turmoil, and the figure of Lu Changsheng appeared in her mind. She calmed her mental spirit, walked into the hall, and softly said, "In the secret realm, your disciple used secret art's supernatural powers, which led to severe injuries and damaged my true elixir. But through a stroke of fortune, I dissolved the true elixir and formed a new core, achieving a second-grade golden core." Chu Qingyi spoke as such. She was raised from a young age by her master Yun Wanshang and would never deceive her. Moreover, the matter of condensing a superior-grade golden core was something that, even if master couldn't see now, she would sense something amiss later. Condensed a second-grade golden core. Yun Wanshang's expression was of surprise. It's important to know that whether it is shattered true elixir, dissolving true elixir, or condensing a second-grade golden core, all are astonishing occurrences. And these things appeared all at once on her disciple. Especially since her disciple was only a half-step golden core, transforming the core is nearly impossible. Under severe injury to transform the core, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say it's a miracle. But yet, her disciple not only successfully transformed the core but went further to condense a second-grade golden core. No wonder Xianjian True Monarch said that after great misfortune comes great fortune. Yun Wanshang let out a long breath, feeling emotional. Although it was a happy and celebratory matter. The familiar aura on her disciple, however, stopped her from feeling entirely at ease. Because the more serious the matter is, the more intense the foreboding grows in her heart. "I heard you were saved by a nascent soul cultivator." Yun Wanshang's eyes were clear and sometimes gentle like water, sometimes sharp like a sword, as if able to see through a person. Her disciple, although gifted with a bright sword heart, never hid anything from her. So she could clearly see the heaviness behind Chu Qingyi's calm exterior. Chu Qingyi nodded and said, "Indeed, it was this person who saved me, allowing me to condense the second-grade golden core." Although Lu Changsheng said their matter could be shared with her master. Yet, she felt such things were too startling and chose to keep it a secret for him. "Ah." Yun Wanshang sighed in her heart, shaking her head slightly. Her disciple had grown up, beginning to keep things from her master. She picked up the teapot beside her and filled a cup. Then flicked her finger, the teacup settled steadily in front of Chu Qingyi, and poured herself a cup, speaking softly, "Your heart is troubled. Having such a miraculous opportunity is certainly good, and master is pleased, but now your heart is heavy, clearly troubled by something." Yun Wanshang looked at her disciple, saying in a calm manner. Although she had a rough guess about the matter between them. Still, she wanted to clear it up and see if there was a resolution. "Master," Chu Qingyi's body trembled when her thoughts were guessed, biting her lip, not knowing how to relate her experiences. Seeing her disciple in such a state, Yun Wanshang immediately felt a surge of anger. It's known that Chu Qingyi was born with a sword heart. Since beginning cultivation, her dedication to the sword Dao excelled any external pursuit, never disturbed by external matters and emotions. It was precisely because of this, Chu Qingyi's path of cultivation was smooth, breaking through to the nascent soul at a young age. But now, her disciple was clearly troubled by external matters, her sword heart clouded. Thinking of her disciple Xiao Xia already harmed by Lu Changsheng, her Dao heart was no longer intact. And now the disciple she raised painstakingly was also harmed by this person. With her sword heart clouded, Yun Wanshang was filled with rage, wishing to strike this person with a sword. This sword cultivator, is it Lu Changsheng? Yun Wanshang's expression was stern and noble, asking coldly. Master, how did you know? Chu Qingyi was taken aback, somewhat surprised. She hadn't expected her master to know this sword cultivator was Lu Changsheng. How could this be? Could it be that the master already knew about this person, which is why Lu Changsheng said their matters could be told to her master? It was really him. Yun Wanshang's expression was solemn. Even though she had earlier suspicions, getting confirmation still came with immense surprise. After all, more than 50 years ago, this little rogue was only at the 4th level of energy refinement. And now, over 50 years later, he has broken through to core formation. This growth speed is truly astonishing. Not to mention that he is just a loose cultivator, a clan cultivator. Sarch * the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Even if one looks across Qingyun's sect or the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, it is truly phenomenal, breaking Jiang country's millennium records. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1339, Has that scoundrel returned? Yun Wanshang asked coldly, wishing she could march to Bai Lake Mountain right now and give Lu Changsheng 2 sword strikes to vent her anger. For the past few months, she had been worried about her disciple Chu Qingyi and the situation with the other party. Now the disciple had returned. But the situation she dreaded the most had also arisen. He should be back soon, right? Chu Qingyi said uncertainly. However, seeing her master's expression was somewhat off, she hurriedly added, Master, this whole matter was thanks to Lu Changsheng, otherwise I fear I wouldn't have been able to see you again. Upon hearing her disciple speak up for this person, Yun Wanshang became even more annoyed, almost crushing the teacup in her hand to powder. However, she was not an unreasonable person, and suppressed her anger to inquire, Tell me the details of what happened between you two. Yes, Master. Chu Qingyi pursed her lips and began recounting the encounter in the secret realm, how Lu Changsheng saved her, leading her into the Tianyuan Lotus, where she met the Tianyuan true monarch. Bang! When Yun Wanshang heard about the sun-moon samsara technique used for healing, the teacup in her hand shattered with a bang, crushed into powder. A formidable magic aura, as vast as an abyss and as heavy as a mountain, permeated and swept through the grand hall, making the air seem to solidify. Master, Lu Daoist is not to blame for this. Seeing this scene, Chu Qingyi naturally knew her master was very angry and quickly spoke up to explain for Lu Changsheng. I naturally know. Yun Wanshang looked at her disciple with a cold expression, feeling troubled and restless. At this moment, she truly didn't know what to say. Just a while ago, she held some hope that the entanglement between them wasn't deep. But in the end, they both knew each other thoroughly. Though hearing the entire process, while her heart was filled with anger and frustration, she also felt somewhat grateful. Grateful that calling Lu Changsheng to the Tianyuan secret realm allowed Chu Qingyi to gain such an opportunity. Otherwise, with such unexpected events occurring in the Tianyuan secret realm, even if Chu Qingyi survived, her core formation might have shattered, rendering her great Dao hopeless in this life. But thinking about this scoundrel, who not only harmed her disciple Xiao Xia but also her disciple Chu Qingyi, made her exceptionally furious, wanting to beat up the other party to vent. All considered, all three of them were involved with this scoundrel. No, that's not right, she had always held the advantage, so how could she be harmed by this little scoundrel? Then Lu Daoist used the Sun Moon Samsara technique and a secret technique to heal me, and used the remaining nascent soul origin and treasure medicine from the Tianyuan True Monarch to repair my physical body and meridians, condensing a golden core. Chu Qingyi only finished explaining everything after seeing her master had calmed down. She didn't mention the subsequent trip to the Great Dream Immortal City. Only said that after breaking through to core formation and stabilizing her realm, she hurried back. That little scoundrel indeed has great fortune, for despite such upheavals in the Tianyuan secret realm, where even a nascent soul true lord almost perished, the greatest opportunity fell into his hands. Yun Wanshang took a deep breath, calming her emotions with a grave expression. When the decision was made to open the Tianyuan secret realm back then, it had already been emptied, with only the inheritance stele remaining. The reason for not moving the inheritance stele was partly because it supported the secret realm. Another reason was the intention to study it after the legacy within was exhausted. Unexpectedly, under the inheritance stele, the physical body of the Tianyuan True Monarch was suppressed, along with his Tianyuan Lotus. You must know, back then Tianyuan True Monarch was able to dominate the southern wilderness greatly due to this Tianyuan Lotus, which was considered a top-level treasure. Moreover, it contained the inheritance of the Tianyuan True Monarch. However, hearing that Lu Changsheng requested the Tianyuan True Monarch's help to rescue Chu Qingyi, not hesitating to expend his life origin and using the nascent soul origin of the Tianyuan True Monarch for her benefit, helping her condense a golden core, Yun Wanshang sighed in her heart. She also understood why her disciple felt that way. After all, Chu Qingyi is only human, not a sword, and has emotions and desires. Having gone through such events, how could she not be even slightly moved, remaining as detached as before, untainted by worldly matters? Moreover, she had raised Chu Qingyi since young, knowing her disciple likely had hidden some words. Sir the Nephire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It was obvious that this scoundrel had used sweet words to deceive her disciple. Thinking of this, a surge of anger boiled within Yun Wanshang. Years ago, he deceived her, then later deceived her disciple Xiao Xia, and now he deceives her disciple Chu Qingyi. Does he really think her lineage is that easy to bully? Have you fallen for him? Yun Wanshang took a deep breath and asked. To be honest, she didn't even know how to handle this situation now. In terms of cultivation, she could offer guidance. But in terms of emotions, how could she guide anyone? She herself was still entangled. So thinking if it's just sprouting feelings, she should quickly nip it in the bud. Otherwise, the three of them in her lineage, thinking about it, Yun Wanshang felt anger rise again, and wondered why she hadn't split that little scoundrel in two with a sword back in the day. Master, I don't know. Chu Qingyi shook her head and said. She had thought about this question many times on her way back, but there was no answer. Your heart is disturbed, once you calm down, the answer will become clear. Yun Wanshang said, if you cannot calm down now, then take a trip to the Jin Kingdom. I heard the Supreme Elder of the Yiming Ghost sect is preparing to break through to Nascent Soul. You should go and understand the situation, and also check if there are any movements from the Five Poisons cult and Heavenly Corpse sect to hone your sword heart. When your heart is as calm as still water, without any distractions, you will have your answer. Yun Wanshang sighed softly. Based on her understanding of Lu Changsheng, he would definitely come back to entangle with Chu Qingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1340. But in this situation between the two of them, she wants to interfere, but she doesn't know how to do so. Moreover, both of them have already reached core formation, they're not children anymore. If there really is affection, as their master, it wouldn't be good to separate them. So she thought of giving her disciple some tasks to do. On one hand, it would avoid meeting Lu Changsheng. On the other hand, if she's busy with tasks, she won't be troubled by matters of the heart. If it's just the sprouting of feelings in her heart, this could help fade and forget them. Yes, master. Upon hearing this, Chu Qingyi gently tightened her red lips and nodded in agreement. But after speaking, she said, Master, can you help to cover up some things about Lu Changsheng? Besides, I owe him a favor. On this trip to the Jin Kingdom, if he encounters trouble, I hope Master can help him a bit for my sake. She knew Lu Changsheng's situation was too extraordinary. If it were to spread, it might attract many to covet his opportunity and secrets like the Tianyuan secret realm did. Even if Lu Changsheng is not afraid, he still has a family. What else is good about this man aside from his looks, that makes you speak for him? Yun Wansheng, upon hearing this, immediately said unhappily. This foolish disciple of hers had her sword heart toyed with and now plans to go out, showing no concern for her master or inquiring about the sect or the secret realm, but instead worrying about this thief. Moreover, with his thick skin, if he really encounters trouble, had probably rushed to the Qingyun sect at the first opportunity. Chu Qingyi paused, feeling a strange sensation in her heart. It seemed like her master had a significant opinion on Lu Changsheng. The master gave the Sun-Moon Samsara technique to him and her junior sister and even approved of their matters. She should be quite optimistic about him, shouldn't she? However, thinking about his relationship with her junior sister, she sighed inwardly and whispered, After all, he saved my life, such a kindness, how could I be ungrateful? If he gets in trouble because of me, I wouldn't be at ease either. Chu Qingyi said this. All right, I understand, you don't have to worry about these matters, your master will see to it. Yun Wansheng said, feeling extremely irritated. Right now, just hearing about Lu Changsheng was annoying to her. Especially with this situation, how would she explain if she found out? Thank you, master. Sar the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Chu Qingyi also noticed her master's current distress, approached her to massage her shoulders, and spoke softly. Later, go and see the sect leader. Regarding the matters of the Tianyuan secret realm and the superior grade golden core, there's no need to explain much. Just say you acquired some opportunities. Yun Wansheng's expression softened a bit, and she said to her disciple, As for Lu Changsheng, just say he's an old friend you met during a training session outside a few years ago. No need to explain too much. As nascent soul immortals of the Qingyun sect, they naturally don't need to account for everything while gaining opportunities outside. Revealing a superior grade golden core might attract more resources. But such news doesn't need to be released immediately. Otherwise, it could easily draw unnecessary troubles, like being noticed by cultivators from enemy nations. Okay. After the master and disciple talked for a while, Yun Wansheng let Chu Qingyi go to rest. Alone in the vast hall for a long time, she let out a deep sigh and sent a transmitted message to Xiao Xie, Shiyu, come see me. Finally back. Lu Changsheng, clad in a mystic robe, his entire being flowing with an invisible luster, looked down at the familiar by Lake Mountain, a faint smile appearing on his face. He didn't return home with great fanfare. Instead, he entered by Lake Mountain silently and unnoticed. After all, Chu Qingyi was also returning around this time. If he returned at the same time as her, it might draw attention from others. It would be better to first check the situation at home. Is it, Lord has returned? At Baiyun Peak, the Lu family mansion, Ling Zixiao sensed something. A moment later, she heard Lu Changsheng's voice transmission. The Cave Heaven spirit vein has finally advanced to the 3rd rank. Just as Lu Changsheng entered the Mount Sumru Cave Heaven, he felt a surge of pure and dense nature's spiritual energy. The previously 1 or 2 li expanse had expanded to nearly 5 li in all directions. Changsheng, you're back. In Changsheng Hall, Lu Miaoge, dressed in a plain white dress, with a graceful demeanor like water, walked out, looking at Lu Changsheng with a face full of joy. Even though they knew Lu Changsheng was alright, not seeing him return for so long still caused some concern. "Sister Miaoga, I'm sorry to make you worry." Lu Changsheng immediately stepped forward, embraced his wife, and held her in his arms, breathing in her fragrant scent and speaking softly. "Brother." At this moment, with smiling faces, Bai Ling and Binger came out from Changsheng Hall and called out happily, hugging Lu Changsheng. "Linger, Binger." Lu Changsheng embraced the two women as well. It's been almost a year since Bai Ling got pregnant. However, there didn't seem to be any signs of giving birth. Lu Changsheng didn't mind it too much. After all, the longer the pregnancy, the better the child's talent. They had taken the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill. It would be a problem if the child wasn't carried for 2 to 3 years. Before long, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenzhen also came to the Mount Sumeru cave heaven, all looking at Lu Changsheng with faces full of joy. Why didn't Lord bring a sister back this time? Seeing Lu Changsheng, Ling Zixiao looked around and said somewhat surprised. Lu Changsheng immediately held his wife's tender hand and said with a serious face, "What do you take me for? I just happened to be delayed by some matters, so I'm returning now." "Is that so? I heard from Daoist Xiao that a nascent soul cultivator appeared in the Tianyuan secret realm, rescuing the gravely injured fairy Qingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1341, Ling Zixiao, donned in a lake blue palace dress, her jet black hair styled in a cloud-like bun, said with a half-smile, "I thought my lord was busy healing Qingyi true man." "Hee hee." Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenzhen heard this and immediately covered their mouths, laughing. Lu Miaohuan looked at her husband with disdain, thinking he always had to flirt whenever he went out. Ahem, ahem, Lu Changsheng heard this, didn't argue, coughed lightly twice, and said, "This Qingyi true man is, after all, Shiyu's senior sister. How could I sit back and do nothing?" After speaking, he immediately changed the topic. "Zixiao, how have things been at home lately?" Shortly after the Tianyuan secret realm ended, news spread that you had fallen in the secret realm. Wang Shu and Pin Gon went to Golden Dragon Ridge to assert dominance and deter others. And the Sima family took the opportunity to test and provoke, so Wang Shu and Ling Xiao went to Misty Rain Market to oversee, subduing an elder from the Sima family. The merchant caravans encountered some trouble but slowed down the pace. With the household puppets, the situation is fairly stable at the moment. As for Hemming Mountain, compensated by the Sima family, our home currently lacks the resources to manage it, and no other forces dare to manage and operate it in our stead, so it has to be left idle for now. The group sat down in a small pavilion nearby, and Lu Miaoyan spoke out, recounting the happenings at home for Lu Changsheng. "Not bad, Wang Shu and the others have grown up." Listening to the challenges the family faced in recent times which were all orderly resolved by his children, Lu Changsheng felt very gratified. Especially the daughter who usually was playful and lazy, her diligent and active performance during these times made Lu Changsheng, the old father, immensely pleased. In his memory, this daughter was still the little girl who would always come to him, being cutesy and begging playfully. Unknowingly, she had already become capable of handling things on her own. 2 months ago, Yunlu returned, having broken through to foundation establishment, whereas Xingyue failed to establish her foundation. Fortunately, after taking the foundation establishment elixir, she did not harm her fundamentals. Xuanji also attempted foundation establishment a month ago and failed. He might need 2 to 3 years to recover. Lu Miaoyun continued speaking. Lu Changsheng nodded slightly, already aware of his son Lu Yunla's foundation establishment situation. He just didn't know about his daughter Lu Xingyu's failed foundation establishment. But this was normal too. Lu Xingyue had only a 6th grade spiritual root and had struggled even to cultivate the medical king's treasure Ding scripture, and her nature was just average. Hong Xuanji was similar, although his nature and abilities were decent, he still only had a 7th grade spiritual root. On the contrary, his son Lu Yunlu, with a 6th grade spiritual root, succeeded in foundation establishment at once, indicating his overall capabilities were still quite good. As for Xingyue, let her take a good rest, and return when it's time. Lu Chongsheng contemplated and said. His daughter had a talent for spirit plants, having already advanced to the 2nd rank, and as Xia Zizhu's daughter, Lu Chongsheng was willing to give her a bit more support and another chance. Okay. Lu Miaoyun nodded in agreement. They also inclined to give Lu Xingyue another opportunity. Now that the spirit vein in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven has advanced to the 3rd rank, Yuner organized the household situation later, Lu Chongsheng continued, telling Lu Miaoyun to arrange for the foundation establishment of the household's 9th level energy refinement concubines. Sar the Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, directly taking concubines to foundation establishment was somewhat troublesome. Moreover, most came for the benefits, and short-term trust was difficult, requiring a bit of caution. Instead, it's better to consolidate the household's loyalty and cultivate concubines with foundation establishment talent to the foundation establishment stage. Now with the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven spirit vein advancing to the 3rd rank, even with more foundation establishments in the household, it could be supported without concerns over insufficient spiritual energy. Alright, my lord. Lu Miaoyun had long known that her lord had such plans. However, they had been delayed due to the household's spirit vein being unable to support so many foundation establishment cultivators. After chatting with his wives and concubines for a while, Lu Chongsheng, knowing there were no urgent or major matters at home, led the women into the Chongsheng Hall. Damn man, damn bastard man. In the formless domain, Nangong Mili couldn't help but curse after observing outside with the mind goo. She couldn't comprehend how this bastard man broke through to core formation. Previously being suppressed in the formless domain, she saw Lu Chongsheng dual cultivating with Chu Qingyi. Then Chu Qingyi left, and the man kept tormenting her. Now observing outside, he's doing the same thing again. Are you an animal? Nangong Mili really wanted to ask this. At this moment, she seemed to know how Lu Chongsheng had so many children. Doing it every day, how could there be few children? Could this bastard have such intentions for me too? Nangong Mili suddenly felt a bit scared, shivering. Though with her cultivation, she could completely refine or expel him. But who knows if this man has any other means? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1342, in the Chongsheng Hall, Lu Chongsheng poured out his full affection to his beloved wives. After numerous battles and many hardships, the passionate and enchanting moments were indescribable. Afterward. This time, your husband has obtained a not insignificant gain in the Tianyuan secret realm. Lu Chongsheng shared with the ladies his experiences and gains from the trip. However, seeing Nangong Mili breaking free from part of the seal and cursing him in the formless domain, Lu Chongsheng immediately instructed Mount Sumeru to shield her divine sense goo. Some family matters are still inconvenient for Nangong Mili to know. Chongsheng, it's better to avoid such secret realms in the future, they're too dangerous. Lu Miaoge listened to these words and did not display much joy on her face. She knew well the dangers of secret realms. Just like this Tianyuan secret realm trip, many family ancestors died. I know. Lu Changsheng's heart warmed, responding seriously. Then he took out the treasure Emperor Lotus and said, Yuner, Zhenzhen, Huan, this time I learned something. If the heavenly origin precious lotus advances to 4th rank, the treasure Emperor Lotus, it may possibly form a cave heaven. Though this cave heaven is not as good as Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, there's no problem with transplanting spirit plants. After I refine it, I will give it a try. If possible, then your husband can take you all out. This 4th rank supreme treasure, treasure Emperor Lotus, Lu Chongsheng not only used for the second Dantian but also thought of a former assumption. Taking his wife's lifespan spiritual plant out with the cave heaven treasure. Though it's very inconvenient, at least they wouldn't be confined at home all the time. Thank you, husband. Lu Miaoyun and Lu Miaohuan, looking lazy and with beads of sweat, felt a tad happy upon hearing this. Chu Zhenzhen curiously sized up the sparkling, jade-like lotus pedestal and exclaimed, "Is this the treasure Emperor Lotus? It looks pretty similar to the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus." Sar the novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. There's quite a difference. Lu Chongsheng smiled and then explained the cultivation technique, inheritance and ancient texts found within the treasure Emperor Lotus. This 100 arts of cultivation inheritance not only benefits Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, Li Xingrua, and others, but it also greatly helps him. He awakened the Tai divine soul due to his Tai soul body. Currently, he has beginner knowledge in alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making, puppetry, and has a solid foundation, making it possible to go further if he chooses to quietly study. Simultaneously, Lu Chongsheng thought about the Tianyuan scripture from the Tianyuan True Monarch. Planning to study it later and see if any of his children at home might be suitable. After all, having promised the Tianyuan True Monarch to find a successor, Lu Ancestor naturally intends to fulfill, even exceed, that promise. Zi Shao, Sister Miaoge, you both should organize these cultivation technique inheritances and ancient texts when the time comes. Lu Chongsheng chatted briefly with his wives and then rested together. The next day, Lu Chongsheng prepared to enter the treasure Emperor Lotus to collect the items inside. Suddenly, the treasure Emperor Lotus surged with a ripple, seemingly repulsed by Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. What's happening, Cave Heaven repulsion? Lu Chongsheng frowned slightly, realizing the situation. His divine sense could enter the treasure Emperor Lotus, but he couldn't open it or enter it. Mount Sumeru. Lu Chongsheng inquired Mount Sumeru. The latter immediately indicated that the two cave heaven forces were repulsed, and forcibly opening them might lead to instability in the cave heaven. Unless he advances further to 4th rank, allowing accommodation of such small cave heaven like the treasure Emperor Lotus. I see. Lu Chongsheng understood the reasoning, akin to storage bags not being able to contain storage bags. Chongsheng, what's wrong? At this moment, Lu Miaoge noticed Lu Changsheng's actions and asked. Lu Chongsheng laughed and explained the situation, then spent some time with the ladies before leaving the Chongsheng Hall. System, extract. Now that the cave heaven spirit vein had advanced to 3rd rank, Lu Chongsheng naturally prepared to plant the 5-element spirit fruit tree from his system space. Even though the 3rd rank spirit vein also struggles to sustain such 4th rank spirit plant. But he wouldn't let the 5-element spirit fruit tree grow on its own, instead directly using the myriad spirits bottle for accelerated maturation. Whoa! Instantly, an oddly shaped, spiritually rich, vividly colored ancient tree appeared. Its trunk is tall and sturdy, covered with a dense network of textures, emitting a sense of some Earth's principles. The tree's leaves gleam with varied hues, some shimmering with golden light, sharp and firm, some blazing like flames, intensely, some crystal clear and azure, dazzling, some vibrant green, full of life, some in mysterious yellow, primitive and solid. But upon closer examination, you'll see the 5-colored leaves intricately interwoven, the sheen and texture flowing, forming a mystical trajectory, seemingly alternating the 5 elements. Such 4th rank spirit plant compared to 3rd rank spirit plant, is extraordinary beyond comparison. Lu Chongsheng sighed inwardly. This 5-element spirit fruit tree, even before bearing fruit, emitted a refreshing aroma, refreshing the mind, aiding in awakening. If someone cultivating the 5 elements technique consistently practices near this spirit fruit tree, it would likely yield twice the results with half the effort. Husband, what kind of tree is this, so wondrous? Chu Zhenjin, Lu Miaohuan, and other ladies gazed in astonishment at the spirit fruit tree before them. It's hard to imagine an ancient tree appearing so peculiar. Ling Zixiao instantly recognized what kind of tree it was and exclaimed in surprise, "Is this the five-element spirit fruit tree?" "That's correct, this tree is named the five-element spirit fruit tree." Lu Chongsheng cheerfully introduced, "This tree bears fruit every 300 years and matures at 500 years, its fruits known as golden core fruits, capable of increasing the core formation probability by 30%, and aiding the condensation of superior-grade gold core. With the myriad spirits bottle, the family can regularly keep several five-element spirit fruits, making Sister Miaoga, Zi Xiao, Little Linger's future core formation easier. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1343. After finishing, he looked at Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenjin, and Lu Miaohuan, smiling. "Yuner, Zhenjin, Huanhuan, when you reach core formation in the future, you can also try a piece. It might help you too." Although the heavenly longevity technique they practiced theoretically didn't require external aids, but giving a piece to the wives to try was still possible. "Thank you, husband. Thank you, brother." The women were very moved, especially Lu Miaoga and Ling Zixiao. The two of them had a fair hope of breaking through to core formation. But regarding this realm, they still lacked confidence. If there were top-level spiritual objects like five-element spirit fruit as assistants, there would be a greater chance to break through core formation in the future. If they could collect certain core formation spiritual objects and coagulation crystal elixir, they might even hope to achieve superior grade gold core. "Brother, what about me?" Binger, who was nestled in Lu Changsheng's arms and sniffing his scent, suddenly spoke. She also started calling him brother along with Bai Ling. "You have it too." Lu Chongsheng rubbed the girl's head, smiling indulgently. Binger seemed not to need cultivation, just sleeping continuously could slowly enhance her. However, the home spirit vein environment was insufficient, which slowed Binger's growth. Zhenjin, later, used the myriad spirits heaven dew from the myriad spirits bottle to cultivate the five-element spirit fruit tree. Lu Chongsheng said to his wife. Previously, most of the myriad spirits heaven dew was used to cultivate the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus, later for the Tianyuan Lotus and Golden Armor Bean Mother. Okay. Chu Zhenjin nodded. Every wife at home would manage something. The myriad spirits bottle was handed to Chu Zhenjin by Lu Chongsheng. After chatting with the women for a while, Lu Chongsheng took them out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, entering the Tianyuan Lotus. They didn't feel much towards the Tianyuan Lotus, this little cave, after staying for a long time in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, only that the spiritual energy inside was quite dense. Lu Chongsheng, taking Lu Miaoga and Ling Zixiao, toured the study before bringing Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenjin, and Lu Miaohuan to the Jade Field. Signal the three women to take action, protect the three medicinal treasures during the transplant. A gourd. After uprooting the infant cultivation flower and heaven-replenishing fungus, Lu Chongsheng saw a gourd-like fruit under the messy vines with purple-golden luster flowing. The fruit was entirely deep purple with a hint of golden luster, about the size of an adult's palm. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What kind of gourd is this? Lu Chongsheng scrutinized it for a while, unsure of its origin. Then, using great magical power, he took the whole piece of jade field soil, left the Tianyuan Lotus with the three women, and returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Hong Lian, do you recognize this gourd? Lu Chongsheng came to the Peachwood Spirit Womb, asking Hong Lian. Sir, this should not be a gourd. If I'm not mistaken, it is a fruit of the mysterious dark vine, called mysterious dark fruit. But I remember mysterious dark fruit doesn't look like this. This one might have undergone some mutation. Hong Lian pondered for a moment before speaking. All right. Lu Chongsheng felt a bit disappointed. He thought it was a gourd embryo to craft his own life-bound magic treasure, the yin-yang creation gourd. What effects does this mysterious dark fruit have? Lu Chongsheng continued to ask. The mysterious dark fruit can bring the dead back to life, regrow flesh on bones. Even if a nascent soul cultivator is seriously injured, it can barely preserve their vitality, keep the physical body from decaying, and is one of the main ingredients for refining profound dark elixir. Profound dark elixir is quite beneficial to ghost cultivators, yin corpses, or those practicing demonic cultivation techniques in this aspect. Hong Lian slowly introduced the effects of the mysterious dark fruit. After hearing that it wasn't the gourd he was expecting, Lu Chongsheng lost interest. He decided to keep the mysterious dark vine as it is for now, to be used as a life-saving treasure medicine in the future. Lord, the ancient manuscripts of this Tianyuan true monarch are truly extensive. Moments later, Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoge returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, happily sharing the manuscript inheritance with him. Especially Ling Zixiao. Her formation path had already reached the 3rd rank, but she lacked further inheritance. Now having obtained the Heavenly Star Formation Path True Solution, this 4th rank formation inheritance, she could make progress in formation path once again. Hehe, Zixiao, you won't be bored in the coming days. Lu Chongsheng laughed, knowing she had always wanted 4th rank formation inheritance. Not to mention 4th rank formation inheritance. Even 3rd rank formation inheritance was extremely rare on the market. Congratulations to Sister Ling for advancing in formation again. Lu Miaoyun laughed and congratulated. She knew Ling Zixiao had extraordinary talent in formations, already a 3rd rank array master. With such an inheritance, she would surely improve further. It's still early. Ling Zixiao, with her charming appearance, elegant and dignified, shook her head with a smile. Though her formation path reached the 3rd rank, it lacked practice. Moreover, her cultivation level was only at foundation establishment 4th layer, making many 3rd rank formations challenging to attempt. It's just a matter of time. Lu Chongsheng said with a smile. Knowing there's nothing urgent at home, Lu Chongsheng wasn't in a hurry to appear, checking which family forces targeted his family. Also taking this opportunity to temper the children at home. Otherwise, relying solely on him as the father for support, it would be too hard to break through into core formation in the future. Lu Chongsheng walked out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven to visit other concubines. At this time, in the formless domain, Nangong Mili felt the resistance vanish and immediately shouted, Lu Chongsheng, how long do you plan to keep me locked up? I also want to release Mili, but your temperament is really worrying to me. Once I'm done and head to Jin Kingdom, I'll let you out. Lu Chongsheng paused his steps and said. Lu Chongsheng, you bastard. Nangong Mili immediately cursed, feeling a bit panicked, fearing Lu Chongsheng would go to the 5 Poisons cult to fight her for their daughter. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1344, Thinking about whether or not to find an opportunity to escape. Mili, it has been a hardship for you during this time. Lu Chongsheng said warmly. Then, with a slight movement of his mental spirit, the formless treasure will spun, unleashing an unseen force, making it difficult for Nangong Mili to see the outside situation. After finishing, Lu Chongsheng went to the Lu family mansion to see his 2 children born some days ago. Perhaps he had broken through to core formation, the probability of giving birth to offspring with spiritual roots had increased, and both children had spiritual roots. It's just that the spiritual roots were quite average. One had a 5th grade spiritual root, the other a 6th grade spiritual root. While Lu Chongsheng was accompanying his wife and concubine, he heard the news that Xiao Xia had come. Xia has come? Lu Chongsheng's heart slightly paused. He had Xiao Xia come to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Chongsheng, you're back. Seeing Lu Chongsheng, Xiaoxia's cold and peerlessly beautiful face immediately showed a gentle and joyful expression. During these days, she had also been worried about Lu Changsheng's situation. "Xia, I've made you worry." Lu Changsheng stepped forward, held her hand, and spoke softly. Immediately, Xiaoxia expressed that her master wanted him to go to Qingyun's sect after returning. Kaiyun True Immortal wants me to go to Qingyun's sect. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng's expression couldn't help but freeze slightly. Previously, he had realized that after Chu Qingyi returned, Yun Wanshang might suspect and guess his situation. Now, only 3 days after he returned, Xiaoxia came, indicating that Yun Wanshang was very likely aware of his matters with Chu Qingyi. Although he had previously faced Chu Qingyi and firmly and seriously indicated he would propose to Kaiyun True Immortal, when it came to this point, he still felt a bit uneasy. It wasn't fear of what Kaiyun True Immortal might do to him, just pure guilt. Just like when he wanted to marry Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan in his early years, he faced Lu Yuanding with a guilty conscience, and ultimately asked the Lu family ancestor to mediate the marriage. Now he not only had relationships with Xiaoxia and Chu Qingyi, but also with Kaiyun True Immortal. Even Lu Changsheng himself felt a bit of a headache. "Alright, it'll go over later." Lu Changsheng took a deep breath, nodded, and said, "Such matters, whether hiding or confronting, must be faced sooner or later. Besides, he should also find an opportunity to go to Qingyun's sect to see Chu Qingyi. Changsheng, Yuan's senior sister." At this moment, Xiaoxia looked at Lu Changsheng, with a hint of suspicion and scrutiny in her beautiful eyes. Although the master hadn't said much, she sensed something unusual. Moreover, she understood Lu Changsheng's nature after all these years. Being with her senior sister for so long, having shared life and death together, she found it hard to believe there was no entanglement at all. This matter, Xiaoxia would know sooner or later, and Lu Changsheng didn't want to deceive her. He sighed and said, "Alas, it's all the work of fate. At that time, when I saw that Qingyi True Master was critically injured, at the brink of life and death, how could I stand by and do nothing? But after I saved Qingyi True Master, I discovered her injuries were extremely severe, with all her meridians and bones shattered, and even her true elixir damaged. In this situation, medicinal stones were of no use. Even if life was barely sustained, she would be reduced to a cripple. However, at this time, a voice said that she could be saved. I hesitated for a moment, half believing and half doubting, and went to the source of the voice, only to find out that Tianyuan True Monarch was no good person, and the method to save her was by using the Sun-Moon Samsara technique. I was unwilling to do so, but seeing Qingyi True Master's life in jeopardy, I ultimately had no choice. Saying this, Lu Changsheng sighed deeply once more and said with a helpless expression. Xiaoxia, seeing Lu Changsheng's sighing and helpless expression, said angrily, "I think you're getting benefits and pretending otherwise. I don't believe you have no feelings for senior sister." Sar the novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Xia, such words are mistaken. Lu Changsheng immediately embraced his gentle wife's slender waist, holding her in his arms, and said, "Everyone has a love for beauty. With a woman like Qingyi True Master, whether in looks or talent, she is unmatched. To say I have no thoughts and no heartache would be self-deception. You wouldn't believe it either, Xia. But as she is Xia's senior sister, would naturally maintain a distance, but alas, fate played its tricks," Lu Changsheng said helplessly, indicating that his heart was clear, and the sun and moon could witness it. Humph. Upon hearing this, Xiaoxia was somewhat annoyed and punched her husband's chest with a fist, feeling he was acting modest despite having gained an advantage. However, after understanding the situation, she could accept it. Her senior sister's situation at the time was perilous. Losing oneself was better than falling. Then, she worriedly said, "If Master summoned you, doesn't that mean she knows about you and senior sister?" Although her master was a person of fairness and reason, she seemed to have an opinion about Lu Changsheng. Now that Lu Changsheng was involved with her senior sister, even if he saved her, Master might still be upset. At this moment, Xianxia didn't quite know what to say. As a hall master of the enforcement hall, she is surely a fair and just person, likely won't do anything. Lu Chongqing felt warm in his heart, holding Xianxia's hand, and comforted her aloud. I'll go with you when the time comes. Xianxia said softly. Thinking that Lu Chongqing had not only saved senior sister but had also saved master in the past, master would likely not do anything severe, just summon Lu Chongqing to ask some questions. But thinking of Lu Chongqing saving her master, her heart turned slightly strange, and she suddenly asked, Chongqing, do you usually have any contact with master? Lu Changsheng's heart skipped, but his face remained unchanged as he said, apart from the Sima family affair, I haven't been able to meet the true man. Although I have a true man token, I wouldn't dare disturb without reason. For matters regarding Chu Qingyi, he dared to tell Xianxia. But as for matters concerning Yun Wanshang, he didn't quite know how to start. Although regarding Yun Wanshang, he was the victim, but considering that the three of them as master and disciples all. Lu Chongqing felt unjustified for some unknown reason. Xianxia nodded gently. Her master had been in closed-door cultivation for years, indeed wouldn't have any contact with Lu Chongqing. Xia, now that Qingyi true master has just returned, if I also immediately return, it would easily draw attention, so there's no rush to see the true man. Your Sun Moon Samsara technique is about half a step from small achievement, let's make good use of this time to practice. Lu Chongqing didn't continue to say much, holding his gentle wife, and entered the Chongqing Hall. He planned to take a trip to Jin Kingdom, thinking there was something lingering. The cultivation technique issue of Xianxia definitely ranked foremost. So he planned to complete the soul fusion early in these days and then deal with the supreme forgetful love technique problem as he envisioned. With this done, he would have more confidence when meeting Kaiyun True Immortal, Qingyun Market. The Qingyun spirit ship slowly descended. A 26 or 27-year-old woman, with narrow eyes and crimson lips, a charming and spirited visage, wearing black and sporting a high ponytail, stepped off the spirit ship. She took a map from her storage bag and glanced at it. Seeing the location of Bai Lake Mountain, she immediately mounted her flying sword and flew towards Bai Lake Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1345, Jin Kingdom, Black Mist Swamp. Amidst the mountain forests filled with purplish-black toxic mist and miasma, more than a dozen cultivators were wandering about. If you observe closely, you can see many fearsome-looking venomous insects lurking on the ground, and dozens of ghost souls floating about. Chu Changtian has been in the mist swamp for a year. No matter what, he couldn't possibly come out alive, right? We're only patrolling the outer areas, and we're already corroded by the poison cloud. How could someone survive so long without elixir medicines? Orders are orders, what can we do? Hang in there, I heard from Brother Teng that guarding for another half a year should be enough. These people whispered softly, a bit helpless. The Black Mist Swamp is constantly filled with poison vapor. If not for purchasing a batch of detoxification pills from the Five Poisons cult, even though they are Foundation establishment cultivators, over time, their physical body and chi blood would be eroded, affecting their foundations. And although Chu Changtian, whom they are pursuing, is extraordinary, in the end, he is still just a Foundation establishment cultivator. At this moment, a shrill voice suddenly came from not far away. Buzz buzz buzz, chirp chirp chirp, chatter chatter chatter. At the same time, the venomous insects on the ground roared and trembled, and the ghost souls floated and shrieked. They immediately looked through the purplish-black mist and saw a figure draped in a black cloak standing not far away. On the ground lay the figure of one of their own, engulfed in purplish-green flames. Chu Changtian, you're still alive. Quick, send a message to Brother Teng. Seeing this scene, these people were as if seeing a ghost. They exclaimed in shock, and instead of attacking immediately, they sent a message to their senior brother. After all, they had all witnessed the strength of this Chu Changtian. Clearly, only at the Foundation Establishment 4th level, his strength was not weaker than many in the late stage of Foundation Establishment. Especially with the 6-winged golden silkworm in his hand, it was simply relentless and hard to defend against. One careless mistake and you wouldn't even know how you died. However, just as they began to speak, they saw the black cloaked figure fly towards them like a heavenly pang. Buzz! Lu Quanzhen's body was engulfed in surging purplish-green flames, making the cold face concealed under the cloak somewhat terrifying and intimidating, and then he conjured a purplish-green gourd. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, from the gourd, an extremely dense purplish-black toxic gas surged out, then coalesced into a giant hand of poison gas, slapping down with a thunderous roar. Not good. Be careful. These people, seeing this scene, immediately became solemn, their mana surged, and they summoned their magic artifacts. Boom! Sir the novel, F. Ire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Purplish-green flames and the poison gas hand blasted out simultaneously. The few people closest suddenly had their mana in disorder, staggering and retreating. Pfft! However, in that instant, a slender golden light shot forth, piercing through the brow of one person, who fell to the ground with a thud. Brother Luo. They saw this scene, their eyes filled with horror and dread. This person not only didn't die in the black mist swamp, but seemingly had even reached a higher level. Chu Changtian, you're actually still alive, my long wait here hasn't been in vain. As Lu Chuanzhen continued to act, a stern voice came through. Then a tall figure clad in green vine armor shot towards this place. He was both angry and astonished in his eyes. It was unexpected that Lu Chuanzhen not only survived but also gained a fortuitous encounter. He had been waiting here not knowing if Lu Chuanzhen was alive. Rather, he didn't know how he would report back to his master, Ghost Demon True Master, so he waited more days as proof of thorough search. This time, let's see where you can escape. He didn't say much, his hands formed a gesture incantation, summoning an immensely intimidating dark sword, and charged at Lu Chuanzhen, with formidable and aggressive momentum. Escape! Underneath Lu Quanzhen's black cloak, his narrow eyes flashed with a cold glint, the Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunpeng technique circulated, and a Kunpeng great fish appeared behind him, causing the surrounding poison vapor to surge like a boundless sea. Boom! The giant sword clashed with the Kunpeng great fish, a tremendous and astonishing mana shock wave raged and swept through, making the venomous insects and ghost souls roar and tremble. Kill! The other cultivators chasing Lu Chuanzhen also rushed over, attacking him in unison, determined to kill him here. Poisonous miasma gourd. Lu Chuanzhen was fearless, his eyes flashing with fierceness, he fiercely struck his chest, spitting out a blood arrow landing on the purplish-green gourd overhead. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the originally 1-foot gourd instantly enlarged to a zhang in size. A constant stream of poison gas as dense as wolf smoke surged out, covering the sky and forming numerous huge dragon snakes that charged at them menacingly. Not good. These people, seeing this, were startled. Just make sure he doesn't escape. Brother Teng, seeing this, shouted sternly, his foundation establishment peak mana surged like a mighty river, forming an intimidating spiritual pressure, making the giant sword greatly radiate, breaking through the Kunpeng great fish with a roar. Clang! Lu Quanzhen's expression remained unchanged, and he instantly cast a purple treasure bead and talisman to defend against the giant sword coming towards him, then formed a gesture incantation with both hands. The recently shattered Kunpeng great fish transformed into numerous inch-long dark tiny fishes, charging at the other cultivators. Several cultivators under the attack of the dark tiny fishes had wounds appear, then their flesh and mana were corroded by the poisonous dragon snake. The 6-winged golden silkworm appeared, directly piercing through several people's hearts and heads, causing them to fall to the ground with a thud. Damn it! Brother Teng, seeing this, his eyes filled with ferocity. With so many dead today, if he can't bring back Lu Quanzhen's head, he wouldn't be able to explain. Go! Seeing the situation, Lu Qiuanzhen signaled at the six-winged golden silkworm, and with yin-yang energies flowing around him like a peng bird, he suddenly flew into the depths of the black mist swamp. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1346, Even if it means injuring my vitality today, I must kill you. Brother Teng saw this scene and made a gesture incantation with his hands, his entire aura soaring rapidly, accompanied by ghostly cries and howls that chilled the heart. He naturally knew that Lu Qiuanzhen had some reliance, unafraid of the poisonous miasma of the black mist swamp. But he also understood that if Lu Qiuanzhen escaped again today, he would have no chance of killing him. Upon returning, only his master's punishment awaited. Moreover, he had some fear and dread towards Lu Qiuanzhen. The other party, in the early stage of Foundation establishment years ago, had killed his master's son. For years, he had been hunted, yet not only did he survive, he even grew rapidly, with several Foundation establishment late-stage cultivators dying at his hands. Now, forced into the black mist swamp by him, he still survived. If he couldn't kill him, once Lu Qiuanzhen broke through to the Foundation establishment late stage, the danger would be on himself. After all, this Chu Changtian, who for more than a decade, sought revenge for every slight, had wiped out several families that had hunted him before. Whoosh! Lu Qiuanzhen saw Brother Teng fighting desperately, shooting like a ghostly light, immediately taking out several talismans from his bosom, casting them as he continued to madly flee. This path he had determined earlier, knowing there were no demon beast dangers along the way. This, should we pursue? The remaining few people saw this situation, their faces hesitant, wondering whether to continue the chase. Chase, if this Chu Changtian escapes, Ghost Demon True Master will blame us, and we cannot afford it. Immediately, someone flew in pursuit in the direction of the two. Continuing the chase, they might die. Not chasing, going back might be a fate worse than death. Whoosh, 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 the others seeing this, also gritted their teeth and chased after Lu Qiuanzhen and Brother Teng. Boom! At this time Brother Teng used some kind of blood-burning technique, his speed astonishingly fast, closing in on Lu Qiuanzhen in the blink of an eye, striking with a palm, like 100 ghosts parading at night, 10,000 ghosts wailing. The giant ghostly sword overhead shone with great light, chopping down with immense force. Puff! Lu Qiuanzhen summoned a treasure bead, emitting radiant light, enveloping himself, but under the sword's attack, his throat turned sweet as he spat blood. He immediately used the force to fly horizontally, commanding the six-winged golden silkworm to swiftly attack Brother Teng. Clang! Brother Teng's body, clad in green vine armor, shone with demonic light as the six-winged golden silkworm struck it, producing a crisp metallic sound. The six-winged golden silkworm, not hitting its mark, turned into a golden light and disappeared. Let's see where you escape to. Brother Teng's face was twisted and ferocious, continuing to chase Lu Qiuanzhen, ghastly ghost runes gradually emerging on his body. Facing Brother Teng's pursuit, Lu Qiuanzhen found it difficult to withstand, retreating step by step, his face gradually turning pale, his breath in disarray. At this moment, buzz, 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 suddenly, black beams of light burst forth from the ground, emitting an eerie glow, enveloping Brother Teng. Formation. Brother Teng's face turned fierce, knowing Lu Qiuanzhen had laid a trap long ago, deliberately leading him here. But with extraordinary insight, he could see this was merely a simple formation arranged by an array device, not a great formation. Break it for me. He slapped his storage bag, producing a prohibition-breaking talisman, then making a gesture incantation, causing ghosts to wail, intending to tear the formation apart. However, just at this moment. Boom, boom, boom. A series of earth-shaking explosions erupted. Damn it! Brother Teng's face drastically changed, not expecting Lu Qiuanzhen had buried thunder pearls in the ground. He hastily activated his green vine armor to the utmost, forming a huge wooden vine figure to enshroud him. Under this attack, the wooden vine figure was instantly blasted to tatters. Moments later, Brother Tang, disheveled and extremely wretched, howled at Lu Qiuanzhen like a fierce ghost, "I'll have you dead." This vine armor was an ancestral treasure of his family, having helped him through numerous life and death crises. But now it was nearly destroyed. He didn't die from this? Lu Quanzhen's expression was cold, somewhat surprised. It should be known, each of these Yin thunder beads could blast a Foundation establishment late-stage cultivator to death. To think he buried 7 and still didn't kill the other. But at least I've broken your turtle shell. Seeing the vine armor broken on the other's body, the black cloak flapped sharply, a fierce light in his eyes. Facing this person was troublesome, due to being unable to break through this exotic treasure. Kill. Lu Qiuanzhen made a gesture incantation with both hands, a Kuanpeng behind him roared and howled, leaping like a fish into the sea, soaring like an eagle in the sky, accompanied by demonic sounds, surging with rolling poison attacking Brother Tang. CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Die. Brother Tang's terrifying face covered in ghost runes, palm like a strange ghost hand, attacked Lu Qiuanzhen. The giant ghostly sword continued to strike out with domineering force. Boom, 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 the two attacks exploded with a reverberating roar, rippling in all directions, causing the poisonous miasma in the air to form a tornado hurricane. Lu Qiuanzhen fell into a disadvantage instantaneously. Yet the surging poison also engulfed Brother Tang, eroding his flesh, turning his face a purplish black. Die for me. Brother Tang's hair danced wildly, his Foundation establishment peak mana surged frantically, roaring hideously. He knew, if he didn't kill Lu Qiuanzhen today, he couldn't leave the Black Mist Swamp. Boom! The ghostly sword coursed with demon runes, shattered the Kuanpeng, the eerie ghost hand pierced straight through Lu Quanzhen's chest. Lu Quanzhen's eyes lowered, gazing at the ghost hand in his chest, a look of disbelief on his face. Ha ha ha, Brother Tang laughed heartily. But the next moment, his laughter froze. A golden light suddenly burst through his chest, spitting blood. And Lu Quanzhen's body gradually turned into an earthen, fabricated dummy. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1347, Not far away, Lu Qiuanzhen appeared, his face pale and bloodless. His hands formed a gesture incantation, and the poisonous mist gourd hovering in the heavenly dome instantly suppressed Brother Tang, accompanied by a deluge of poisonous mist. SSSSS, at this moment, the six-winged golden silkworm no longer avoided confrontation. Its ferocious and bloodthirsty aura surged, attacking wildly as if it had nothing to lose, devouring Brother Tang's internal organs and causing him to scream in agony. Brother Tang. A few people arriving not far away witnessed this scene, their faces filled with disbelief. Ha ha ha, you still dare to chase after us. Seeing these people, Lu Qiuanzhen hoarsely sneered, as a terrifying black Kuanpeng appeared above, causing the poisonous mist to surge fiercely. Run, quickly run. Brother Tang is dead, let's go quickly. These people saw the scene and were terrified, immediately turning to flee. They hadn't been very keen on pursuing from the start. Now, seeing Brother Tang die at Lu Quanzhen's hands, they were scared out of their wits and had no desire to pursue further. Cough, cough, cough. Lu Qiuanzhen witnessed this but did not pursue, clutching his chest and coughing up blood. This Brother Tang's strength far exceeded his expectations, and he only managed a chance with the puppet replacement technique. At this moment, he had no strength to continue the battle. If he continued to fight, it would risk harming his own Foundation. Once these people escape, the ghost demon True Master may very likely come here. I can't stay here long. No, I can't even stay in the Jin kingdom any longer, Lu Chuanzhen murmured to himself, looking at the nearly lifeless brother Tang, a magical sword appearing in his hand. He chopped off his head, then rolled up his corpse and hurried away, by Lake Mountain. Congratulations to the host's first offspring for becoming a second-rank artifact refiner, earning a chance to draw a prize. On this day, Lu Chongsheng was cultivating the Sun-Moon Samsara technique with Xiao Xie when a system prompt sounded. Second-rank artifact refiner? Lu Chongsheng guessed it must be his son Lu Yunlu advancing to second-rank artifact refiner. This son showed considerable talent in artifact refining, already being a first-grade top-level artifact refiner. Now with the breakthrough to foundation establishment, it was normal to make some progress in cultivation level, divine sense, and the path of artifact refining. Lu Chongsheng didn't pay much attention and continued practicing the Sun-Moon Samsara technique with Xiao Xie. Several days later, the two took a break. Sarch * the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Holding the blushing, languid-faced Xiao Xie, Lu Chongsheng also proceeded to use the lottery he had previously earned. System, draw. Accompanied by the familiar interface of a big wheel, a flame pattern emerged. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the third-rank fire seed, Burning Heart Flame. The reward has been issued to the system space, the host can check it at any time. Burning Heart Flame? Lu Chongsheng raised an eyebrow lightly, his expression calm. Though he possessed the Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, this Burning Heart Flame was likely of little use to him. But now ordinary draws were generally of little use to him unless incredibly lucky, so there was no disappointment. Fire Seed, Burning Heart Flame, Quality, 3rd rank, Description. A flame formed from the fall of a third-rank great demon malicious heart beast in an endless sea of fire, invisible and colorless, capable of stirring others' heart flames, 7 emotions, and 6 desires. Heart flames also have a burning and refining mana effect. Stirring heart flames and 7 emotions and 6 desires. Lu Chongsheng was somewhat pleasantly surprised by this effect. His pure and potent yin-yang magic power naturally didn't need external objects to refine mana. But this ability to stir 7 emotions and 6 desires seemed excellent to him. Practicing the 6 desires heart demon technique requires stirring 7 emotions and 6 desires. Yet under normal circumstances, cultivating through 7 emotions and 6 desires is dangerous, troublesome, and hard to control. With the Burning Heart Flame, it became much simpler and more convenient. And the burning and refining mana effect, though of no use to me, could be useful for others at home. If the mana of my wife, concubines, and children could all be refined, then our family's overall strength could be enhanced by a level. Lu Chongsheng pondered silently, aware of the importance of condensing mana. But since I already have the Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, wanting to refine the Burning Heart Flame is very troublesome, and might even cause conflict between spiritual fires. Even if refined, using the Burning Heart Flame to refine mana for others is inefficient and would hinder cultivation. Wait, suddenly, his thoughts paused, realizing he was caught in a mental trap. Why should he refine the Burning Heart Flame himself? Just like a spirit plant of the world, simply placing the Burning Heart Flame somewhere in the house would suffice. The wife, concubines, and children at home could use it to refine mana or hone their Dao hearts through 7 emotions and 6 desires. Furthermore, the effect of the Burning Heart Flame stirring 7 emotions and 6 desires could be suppressed by Mount Sumeru, preserving only the mana refining effect. Can the Burning Heart Flame only refine mana? Could it refine spiritual power as well? Energy refining cultivators naturally cannot withstand the effects of the Burning Heart Flame, but what if by some means the effect of heart flames was weakened to a level they could endure? As a third-rank artifact refiner, Lu Chongsheng quickly had a rough concept in mind. He only needed to forge a Linglong pagoda and place the Burning Heart Flame inside. Depending on the level of the pagoda, different levels of heart flame effects could be achieved. At the minimum, energy refining cultivators could use the Burning Heart Flame to refine spiritual power. The more Lu Chongqing thought about it, the more feasible it seemed, and he even wanted to start constructing it right away. Chongqing, what's wrong? Nearby, with her hair disheveled and cheeks flushed, Xiaoxia languidly asked. It's nothing, I just suddenly had an enlightenment on a cultivation problem and was momentarily overjoyed. Lu Chongqing immediately replied to the beautiful woman in front of him, happily pressing a kiss on her lips as delicate as flower petals. By Lake Mountain, outside the mountain gate. A woman in black descended on a sword from the sky. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1348, I wonder what business does Senior have at my By Lake Mountain? The Lu family disciples and cultivators stationed at the mountain gate immediately cupped their hands in salute upon seeing the woman. Although their By Lake Mountain was a false core family, they still held Foundation establishment cultivators in high regard. After all, no matter where, Foundation establishment cultivators are like an elder, it's best not to offend them if you can avoid it. Besides, they were only energy-refining cultivators, so they felt instinctive reverence before a Foundation establishment great cultivator. May I ask if Lu Pingan is at home? The woman in black spoke out. After speaking, she added, I have an affair to discuss with him. Upon hearing this, the two Lu family disciples exchanged glances, saying, Does Senior have a token? Currently, Lu Pingan was akin to an ancestral figure on By Lake Mountain. Even if they knew his whereabouts, they wouldn't disclose them. After all, letting others know that their ancestor was out was an extremely risky matter. A token? The woman in black was startled and said, You can notify him, just say that his friend Qin Yi has come to visit. A friend? Please wait, Senior, I will go and notify you. One of them spoke, heading off to inform the family head, Lu Xingyang. Qin Yi? Does my brother have such a friend? Lu Xingyang, busy handling affairs, frowned slightly as he pondered upon hearing this. Then he went to consult Lu Yun. Qin Yi? Lu Yun shook his head, indicating he had never heard of this name. He paused his refinement of the dragon blood tree and went to the mountain gate, saying, This Senior, my brother is currently in closed-door cultivation. Do you have any tokens? Otherwise, previously my brother instructed that he not be disturbed unless there is an urgent matter. Qin Yi knew this was the excuse used for refusing guests. She hesitated and said, Is Lu Mingyue in the family? She should know me. Lu Mingyue? Lu Yun was baffled, carefully recalling if there was such a person in the family. In his impression, there wasn't such a name. But there were indeed many siblings in his family, perhaps he had forgotten. After pondering for a moment and confirming there was no such person, he said, Is Senior mistaken? We do not have a Lu Mingyue in our family. No. Qin Yi frowned slightly. The letters she received constantly praised a sister named Mingyue, almost to a ridiculous extent. And Qin Yi also realized that the letters she received were not from Lu Pingan, but from the girl named Lu Mingyue. Could she be using an alias? Qin Yi speculated in her heart immediately. After all, judging by the letters, this person was quite unreliable. Mingyue might be a nickname she uses, claiming to be Lu Pingan's sister. Do you have someone like that in your family? Qin Yi spoke out. Even though she had quite a few letters in her possession. But the content of these letters wasn't too embarrassing, even if it wasn't the person herself, it couldn't serve as a token. Nickname? Lu Yun contemplated upon hearing this and suddenly thought of his sister Lu Wangsha's small courtyard, named Mingyue Residence. If the woman before him was a Foundation establishment cultivator and came seeking his elder brother, also recognizing Wang Shu, it made some sense. But the problem is that Lu Wangshu is currently not at home either. Otherwise, going to Bai Shui Lake might lead to this sister. It seems we have someone like that, but coincidentally, she is not in the family right now. Lu Yun said politely, if Senior could leave contact information, once my brother exits seclusion, or when Mingyue returns, I will inform them. Alternatively, Senior could stay at our by Lake Mountain for a few days. Having served as family head for many years, he had developed some skill in recognizing people. Judging by speech and expressions, he felt the other person was not like a deceitful loose cultivator and could indeed be an acquaintance of his elder brother. All right. Qin nodded, understanding that in the cultivation world, it was very cumbersome to meet someone. Especially since Lu Pingon had already become the Lu family ancestor, it was even more unlikely he would meet guests easily. After Lu Yun invited Qin Yi to stay at Bai Yun Villa reserved for guest reception, he also instructed Lu Xingyang to send someone to White Tiger Mountain to inform his elder brother. White Tiger Mountain. After practicing fists with his sister Lu Lingyi, Lu Pingon returned home for a meal. Ordinary cultivators might often fast. But body-refining cultivators often eat more than ordinary people, requiring demon beast meat for every meal. Brother, Xingyang has sent a message saying a woman named Qin Yi claims to be your friend, seeking you. Do you know her? Seeing his elder brother feasting, Lu Qingsong said casually. Qin Yi? Lu Pingan's expression froze upon hearing the name, and he asked again, who did you say? Seeing this, Lu Qingsong immediately took out a jade slip and handed it to his elder brother. Why did she come? Upon seeing the black-clothed woman in the jade slip, Lu Pingan's tall and robust figure grew stiff. You know her? Lu Qingsong had never seen his elder brother like this and asked aloud. I know her. After a brief silence, Lu Pingan spoke softly, not expecting her to come to Bai Lake Mountain looking for him. Yet she was truly daring and sincere, straightforward in her character. In his youth, she embarked alone to travel far, seeking the heavenly sword sect to become what she called a great sword immortal. Previously, during the Purple Shadow secret realm, she had also directly called out to him. Yet he was timid and dawdling. Big Pot, who is it? Lu Lingyi, who was munching on her food with oil all over her mouth, asked curiously. An old acquaintance. Lu Pingan softly replied. At this moment, both Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingyi noticed something was amiss in their elder brother's expression. Is it someone Big Pot likes? Lu Lingyi with clear big eyes looked at her elder brother and asked aloud. Seeing his elder brother silent and speechless, Lu Qingsong was surprised and suspicious, feeling his sister might have guessed right. Could such a person as his elder brother feel this way about romantic feelings? At this moment, a hint of gossip sprouted in his heart. Sister once said if someone likes another, they'll become dull. Big Pot looks dazed now. Lu Lingyi, as though oblivious to her elder brother's expression, took another bite of meat and mumbled. Is brother going to see this Miss Qin? Lu Qingsong, upon watching his silent elder brother, asked cautiously. After a long silence, Lu Pingan said softly, yes, I will go to Bai Lake Mountain. In the past, he could pretend not to know or not to think about it. But since she had come to Bai Lake Mountain, he could no longer act as though he didn't know. Big Pot, I also want to go, I want to meet this sister. Lu Lingyi, with no sense of propriety, exclaimed crisply. All right, first finish eating. Lu Pingan lovingly rubbed his sister's bun hairstyle, speaking gently, wondering how to face her. Miss Qin, long time no see. Ah. He sighed inwardly. Sometimes, not wanting to go might mean can't go, or maybe truly not wanting to go. S.E.A. the novel, F. Iyer. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Either way, he ultimately did not go. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible.